Hi there.
Hello, hold on.
How are you? Let me just, I'm actually gonna bring my camera a little higher.
Me too. Well, I just actually just moved my screen.
Okay.
I think my lighting is okay.
Yeah, your lighting looks great.
It does. It looks very chic.
It looks very natural.
Hmm.
Your lighting.
Yours looks much better.
How
You,
are you?
I'm so good. Today's so good.
So good.
What
My
happened?
my fiery came out today.
I heard it in your voice this morning. I was so happy.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
I'm so happy we're officially doing this, by the way. I really am.
It's just it's what's next.
It is.
It's what's next. It feels like let's go.
Mr. Smith in The Simpsons.
Do, 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 do. I love it. I love it. Hold on, let me turn my light a little up.
Okay.
Were you just walking?
I was just walking, yeah.
I love that you connected with I feel like we're having our own conversation and we're not even saying hello to people.
I know we should say hi. Yeah, but so Christ has been coming through a lot lately, and as well as, well, I'm not feeling the strong connection with Magdalene, but I do sense that she's working with you, and so I feel encompassed by their energy.
Yeah, big, big, big time. I was like embodying her in Mexico. I was like, she was, I was, my eyes were like, she was in my body, and I was like, my lens was Mary Magdalene. It was so amazing. It
It
was
was
so,
you did. You were like incredible.
yeah, it was pretty powerful.
Should we invite someone on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you have any opening message for people?
Hi, you guys. When I'm with Phil, I'm with Phil. I'm like Phil zone.
Like
Hi, you
this.
guys. Happy birthday. Hello, hello. Do I have any messages? I mean, I guess what I would say about the now moment that we're in. Well, you know what? I'll share a quick little message and then we can start. One of the things that I'm noticing personally, at least for today, is the amount of compassion and empathy that we are going to have for humanity going forward on a level that we have never had to have before. And it's mandatory, and like it's going to be required of us to start to really hold empathy in a way that we've never held it before. I always thought that I was pretty solid in empathy, meaning I am putting myself in someone else's shoes. I'm figuring out what they must be going through, and then I empathize with them. I feel it. I understand it. I get it. And I had an experience today. I won't say with who, but I had an experience where I went into a state of judgment over their anger and frustration around what was going on and what people were or were not doing. And when I left, I was really frustrated because I didn't understand why she was so upset, why she was so angry. And I started spouting to my girlfriend, like, I don't understand. Why is this happening? Like, and I couldn't, I didn't have any empathy for her. And then about an hour later, I got a text message from her. And she says, I'm so sorry that I was, in that space today. I just don't want to keep working with a mask on. It's very hard for me to do this. And I feel like things aren't going to get better anytime soon. And she was really apologetic for her response to the world, right? And I was floored because I said, Lorie, how freaking dare you not be able to understand her shoe, like what she's going through. I have a job where I don't have to wear a mask 24/7, right? Like I'm free and I don't know what it's like. And here she is upset. And instead of, in that moment, instead of trying to put myself in her shoes, right? And imagine what it's like to have a mask over my face for 8 hours standing. I started judging her, and I started judging her actions and her behaviors and how could she think this and how could she do these things? And meanwhile, she's just in pain. She's just in pain and fear. And my role here is to be able to sit in that and to be able to empathize and love and honor and acknowledge, regardless of what my personal beliefs are. And that was massive for me. Like, it was massive. And it was a great gift because it will never happen again. It will never happen again. And that's what's needed for us, you guys, right now, is this ability to empathize in a way that we never have before. In moments right now where we are being divided. There's such a divide right now that to be able to empathize and have compassion for all of it, that's the way through this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way through it. Yeah. It was crazy.
It's a massive, I feel like there's just this immense projection right now, and we are being asked to hold the space for all of it. My guides have been saying to me all week that when you're in a relationship with someone or in a friendship dynamic with someone and they're in pain, there's a high likelihood that they're going to project that pain onto you, and basically dump their crap on you. But my guides have also been drawing a parallel with the Matrix, where the Matrix is a giant projection from the collective consciousness that most people, or I should say collective unconsciousness, that most people are holding, or the control systems, or all of these different establishments. And it's really just a displacement. It's a displacing of that darker energy or that fearful energy, because that's what it is. Because when there's an energy that's in fear, it wants to control so that it doesn't need to be in fear. And so we have to start treating this and responding to this matrix in a more positively effective manner, where it's just, no matter who's trying to betray you, who's trying to project onto you, it's just a projection like your friends or like your family members. And if you get rattled to the bone and you get thrown off your stool and you get all reactionary, then what you're stating to the universe is that you're still in subjugation to something, meaning that that still has you in its grips. And when you're able to overcome or transcend that, you hold a space for your loved ones, and we have to hold a space for the matrix. It's almost like the people who are in fear right now are like little children who are running around, who don't want to grow up, who don't want to clean up their act, who don't want to live in a state of integrity and in a state of honesty and transparency. So what they do is they hide things from the public. So there's a lot of stuff lurking in the background right now. And what we need to do is to say, we are going to be the older, the ancient ones, the ancient souls, who are able to hold a space for these little children who are having a temper tantrum now, and we're not going to judge them because we were once there.
Totally. I love it. It's the matrix. I was having a temper tantrum today. I was one of those little kids having a temper tantrum, and I teach this and I practice this and I observe myself it's like, it can happen just like that we slip, right? It's like, boom, slip, and it's so fascinating to recognize that it is an actual entire energetic matrix that we are almost holding space for. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're holding space for it.
Can I ask you something? If you had to identify what caused you to slip today, what caused you to slip up today, what was it? Why did you slip? Where was there a resonance there for you to slip?
Well, I just dissected this, and I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people might get triggered by. So I have an opinion around the jab. Okay. I have a personal opinion around the jab, right? And then Mary Magdalene came in and literally body slammed me to the ground this morning about the jab, because like massive, like, oh, no, 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 we're going to show you what this is really all about. But it was that I have an emotional reaction when I hear that people are getting the jab. And it's an opinion that I hold by being the human Lorie, right? And so when I hear people do it, I have this sort of like guttural sort of, it's like this knee-jerk reaction. And what you want to know what Mary Magdalene said to me this morning? Oh Lord, I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm going to say it because, you know, it's for everyone, I think. She says, Lorie, there's nothing wrong with the jab. She says, the fastest way to wake people, the more people that take the jab, the more people that may be harmed by the jab, the faster humanity will wake up. And so the people that are taking the jab are doing a service for humanity as well. And so she says, it's not about trying to convince people to not take the jab or to say that there's a right or a wrong at all around this. It's all part of the shift, right? So step out of the harm that it may do. Step out of the emotional attachment that you have to what it may be doing to the human. Can you do that? Can you step out of that space? And yeah, it kind of threw me for a loop because, I mean, really that's neutrality, but it's a totally different type of neutrality. It's like, it feels in a way like, well, then, like, how do I hold all those different multidimensional aspects of me? There's one aspect of me that has an opinion around it, right? Has an opinion.
Yes.
But then there's a bigger piece to this that says, what if it's all, and it is all designed to shift the human collective. It is all, how do I let go of the impact that it's having? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do I let go of that? That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's powerful. I also got something that links in with that right before we logged on, which is that as people suppress their inherent abilities around their psychic awareness, there has to be a counter effect where the people who already initiated those abilities or activated those abilities, they're going to have to shoot off. So it's kind of like if you imagine you're pushing down on a bottle or a hose, and then the water fires off. So all the starseeds who have already put in the work and who have been invested in their own ascension, as some people suppress through fear, then all the starseeds are going to rise like a fountain or like the tides, and their abilities are going to shoot through the roof. Because this universe is designed on a balancing sheet. So when there's a lot of suppression, there's more expression. So a lot of the people who are awakened souls are going to be expressing so much more now. And they're going to have a broader spectrum or accessibility to that broader spectrum of their abilities, which is beautiful.
Yeah, it's the natural progression of how this whole evolution is going to unravel. I mean, this is how it's going to unravel. More suppression, more suppression, more suppression, more elevation of these, right?
What's that game where you push it down and the other one comes up?
Yeah, I don't know.
The seesaw effect. It's like the seesaw.
Yeah.
Effect. It's like a game where you push the head down and the other one pops up. That's what I'm seeing. So because today I felt this surge of energy where I lifted into the cosmos and I screamed my brains out, but it was power. It was power of I refuse to succumb. I refuse to be subservient. But it was this power that was so godly.
And I think like the piece that, can we be that powerful? Can we be that loud? Can we be that voice without anger or making anything wrong? Like reactionary.
Yes, I think that for me, my guides always say to me, it is in the neutrality that you can unlock your powers and use them wisely. I just came up with that now, but you can use them wisely because there's not a charge. But if you're doing it and you still have duality that's running through your operating system, that's harbored in your operating system, then you're going to be a parasite to another aspect that's in the quantum field. It's a very profound concept, but if you can imagine, if you're someone who has animosity, if you're someone who harbors grudges, who holds grudges, or who has anger or hostility, when you meditate and you're pulling energy, you might be pulling it from another human. You may not be pulling it from source. So the key is to be in neutrality. And when you're in neutrality, you can connect or hook up to source. And then you can have this surge of energy or this uprise of energy.
So what does neutrality feel like? How do you know that you're in neutrality?
You know you're in neutrality when you are devoid of fear. When you that's the thing, because I understand your stance on having an opinion around the jab, because in your most natural state, fear ceases to exist. And there would be zero reason, and I know this is going to sound like a polarizing statement, but there would be absolutely no reason for someone to take the jab unless they were afraid. There's no reason. Because what it does is it alters the natural state of the body. But yet again, everything is relative, because someone might say to me, well, you're eating animals, you're eating animal products, and that's going to alter you, right? So intention does play a part in this. So from one perspective, it's all relative. But I also believe, and this might be thought-provoking for people, but one time after being vegan for 6 months, I asked my guides, because I started having fish again and all kinds of things. And they said to me very loudly, they said, you're not the killer of these animals. They said that to me. Just because you're eating it, you're not the killer of it. And I asked them to elaborate, because I never felt like it was malicious on my end, because I'm so tapped into the quantum field. And I know that everything is predicated on your intentionality. And they said, Phil, there are many people out there right now who are watching Netflix and who are eating their meal of chicken or fish without even paying it any attention. And we would rather have you or other beings who are highly conscious honor that life. Honor that life and acknowledge that life. So nothing is really black or white. Nothing. It's all energy. So the basis is intentionality. It's energy, the energy you bring to things, that you bring to the table. And that begins to shift the cellular imprints that are embedded within the planetary body of Gaia.
And that message can also be applied to the jab.
It has to. It has to, because if it's not, if that message isn't applicable to the jab, then we're operating from separation, because we think our way is the right way.
It's right. It's such a pivotal energetic moment that we are in right now as a human collective, because it's so multi-layered, it's so complex, but it's also very simple. But the complexity of it is the jab is here to show us, and there's other things, the mask, these systems that have been in place that have created this sense of this false sense of freedom that we've had, and this the mind control and these things that have been happening, right? The jab and the mask, it's accentuating these systems that we're here to alchemize, dismantle, or step out of, right? Kind of pull ourselves out of and say, okay, no more. I'm awakened to this. I'm going to choose. I'm going to be the creator. I'm going to be sovereign. So that's one layer of this, right? Of the jab. It's like, oh, we have to see what we have been inundated with in order to shift the human collective out of it. The other layer, though, is how do you love your neighbor? How do you hold love for those that are completely unable to ever see what they're in? How do I love the person? How do I accept how do I hold that as I am also recognizing that it's time to wake up, right? Like, wake up, let's wake up, let's wake up, let's wake up. And I love you and honor you for not waking up. I love you and honor you for not waking up. I love you and honor you for not waking up. I love you and honor you for being in fear, for being in pain. I love you for being in pain. Like,
And one thing that's coming in right now is, what if it's not about loving people? And what if it's not about accepting it? What if it's not, what if it is that every single one of us is a master creator being of our reality? And those taking the jab are going through their own respective journeys. And they're going to go through those respective journeys whether you like them or not. And so our job is to basically just point our attention to what it is that does get under our skin and say, this is an opportunity that's being afforded to me right now to refine my abilities as a creator. And so I think it's both, but I think that is love, because here's the thing. It's a fine line that we're walking right now, because, and I was thinking about this today, and you asked me earlier, what does sovereignty feel like to you? Sovereignty, and I got a visual earlier, which was that if someone attempts to rape me, I'm going to use a very crazy example right now. If someone attempts to rape me, it's like, you will never freaking do that. You are not allowed in my space. You're speaking to the human, but your soul still loves that person. Your soul still loves that soul, because the soul comprehends that that human's disconnected from the soul. Right. But sovereignty to me is having this knowing, I will not participate. You will never participate over here. This is where I draw a line in the sand. You're not welcome in my space because you're trying to get in the way of what I'm creating right now. And I'm in my sandbox right now, and you need to leave right now. But it's also having the recognition that your soul isn't judging their experience. It's just that you're not welcoming that infiltrating energy into your field.
Right. So right. Yes. So it's not like you're saying, oh my God, I love you. I love you. It's more of an honoring of their journey. Maybe that's a better word. Like an honoring of that's their journey. That's their process. That's their experience. That's their whether they're aware of it or not, they're doing them. They're doing their sovereignty. They're doing their frequency.
Yes. And they don't have a right to usurp or to infringe upon you. So it's like, go do what you need to do, but you're not going to get to do it over here.
Right.
You're not going to get, and that's sovereignty. Sovereignty is, I will not roll over like a dog and let you dictate what my life is and what it's going to be. I'm going to be the chooser of my experiences to the best of my ability, because things are completely out of our control. But I'm going to be the selector of my experiences. And if something happens to override that and knocks me on my ass, then I have to accept that source allowed it, that the universe, that God allowed it to happen. And just like the jab, source is allowing those people to get the jab because maybe they haven't awakened yet. But we also don't want to be condescending and say that they haven't awakened. It's similar to people who are vegan, who say if you eat meat, you're going to get there. It's condescending. To say you're going to become a vegan someday, you're not there yet. It's condescending. What we want to do is say, I honor that soul's journey, and I trust that there's a higher plan that's being orchestrated for that soul by their soul, and that we understand it or agree with it.
Right. It's really holding up. It's really we're being asked to practice the honoring each person's sovereignty. So, but honoring our sovereignty first, right? So I guess when I think about, like, I'm just going back to the example of today for me, right? If I had stepped into my sovereignty and I had seen this person in their sovereignty, it's not that I'm like, oh my God, I love them. I'm loving them. It's more, I'm allowing myself to love them. It's more of honoring that human's journey, honoring that human's experience. Yeah, it's such an interesting time right now that we're learning.
I always get So since quarantine, I've been getting the same metaphor around the jab and around the masks. And what I always get is when you go out with friends and you don't feel like drinking, and your friends are trying to thrust it upon you like you're boring, you're boring, you're boring. But the truth is, even if you drink, they're not going to get a buzz. If you drink, you're going to get a buzz. So similarly to the vaccine, if we are in positional with our stance, what do we care? It's not like you're going to get the jab. So let people get the jab. Let people drink if they want to, or let people not drink if they don't want to drink. Because either way, you're not going to get tipsy if someone else drinks anyways. It's just that you're trying to control the human. And so and I remember when I was young, I would go to the club and sometimes I didn't always want to drink. And I'm not against drinking. I had nights where I didn't want to drink. And my friends were like, you're so boring, but they were just trying to control. That's all. But I understand their perspective as well because you want to have a shared experience. And I think that's why a lot of us, this is what's coming to me, we have an aversion to what's going on right now because we want to have the shared experience of utter freedom. And it's not shared. Everyone has a different perception as to what freedom is. Some people think that freedom is once I'm immune and I get the Johnson & Johnson, then I'll be free. And you're not free because you're not willing to take the jab. And so you're always going to be in subjugation to whether or not you're going to catch the virus. So everyone's running a different story. And I think the crux of our frustration or aggravation at times is that we want to have a shared experience because that would be the epitome of unity consciousness.
I mean, here's what's so crazy. We all want the same damn freaking thing.
Yeah.
We all want the same thing. We all want the same freaking thing. Who doesn't want their freedoms back, right? We all want the same thing. We're just seeing it through different lenses. We're seeing it through different lenses. And the other thing that came in when you were talking was, listen, all the different layers of how we're going to view this, all the different layers. First of all, at the end of the day, what's happening? We're learning how to be in higher states of consciousness, period. In a discussion, case closed. That is what is happening above and beyond everything else. This is why we're here. We are here to be the higher states of consciousness, to show the humans how to be the master in human form. So that's what's happening here, right? And so this is all going to unravel the way it's going to unravel. Can we hold that higher perspective that we're going to make it through this? Every day, how am I being presented with the ability to step into higher states of consciousness? For instance, I was like, oh, I failed that freaking test miserably, like, oh, 3 days ago, I failed that test at the Miami airport, like failing test after failing effing test. Am I ever going to do it? Like, start working with Mary Magdalene, your ass gets handed to you. But like, but that's how I see it. Like, I see that like everything is really asking us how is this an opportunity for me to be the way shower and to step into these higher states of consciousness and not get so into black, white, right, wrong, good, bad, jab, no jab, freedom, no freedom, passport, no passport, right? That's
I think I do think though that we would be abdicating our truth if we didn't have an opinion. I think it's really imperative to have one. I have a lot of opinions. I would never, I saw a woman walking by me today that was wearing a mask that had a fake nose on it and a fake mouth. And I heard in my head, humans have become clowns. They've joined the circus. And it wasn't from a judgmental place because it came from a higher intelligence where people were baited. They fell hook, line, and sinker for the big agenda. And that is my opinion. That is my opinion. I believe, and I speak to Christ a lot. Christ would fearlessly tell people, be fearless. Christ would say, why would you let a man control you when nature was designed to heal you? Ooh, that's good. Why would you let a man control you when nature was designed to heal you?
You got to put that, you got to write that.
Good. And Christ would say, have no fear. Be willing to be courageous enough to die for God if that's what needs to happen. Because that's what Christ did. So I have my own opinions, and but the trick, my friends, the hack, is to not nail yourself to your own cross, meaning don't nail yourself to your beliefs. Don't nail yourself to the point where you're not able to interact with humans that you may not be agreeable with.
No attachment. That's non-attachment.
But yet it's still an honoring of your soul signature.
And an honoring of being human. We have to honor the juicy humanness. Like we can't pretend that we're these like higher than thou people that are like, I see beyond this and I am big. You know, we are human. And so honoring the opinions and honoring the emotions and honoring everything that we're feeling throughout our day, that is part of it. Having compassion for ourselves, that's part of it. All of that, right? It's part of it. Yeah. Should we bring someone on? Sure. Because we could talk forever.
We could talk forever. But we did that at the beach for like 8 hours a day. And we were also very silly.
We were super silly.
Super silly. I loved it though.
It was so fun.
What?
Well,
let's see who we can invite on.
You know, it's going to be a powerful month coming up because like imagining, I always imagine what Jesus would do. I always imagine what Mary Magdalene would do in these times. If they were standing here, if they were walking with us. Oh, hello.
I don't think, to be honest with you, and I would never speak on behalf of Jesus, but I believe that Jesus would wear a mask, but I don't believe that he would judge people who wear them.
No, because he knows that he's a sovereign being. He doesn't hold fear. So yeah.
You don't become an ascended master by being governed by anything. You become especially fear. You don't become an ascended master if you're always under the governance of different systems. You just don't.
Yeah. I mean, you understand energy in a way that a lot of humans don't understand energy, right? You're not going to hold that. It's not going to make any sense to you. It's not going to make sense to you, but he'll put it on and it'll be no big deal, right? It's not going to impact him. If he puts it on, he puts it on for whatever he puts it on for, right? For, let's say he had to go to the grocery store. It would not impact him. It would not make him anything other than the master that he still is. So it wouldn't be like, oh my God, I'm buying into the system because I have to put a mask on, right? Like, no, he could give a shit less. Like, give me the damn mask. I'm going to go get my oranges and then I'm going to leave. Like, he wouldn't be attached to that, you know?
No. Right now, all of us are really being asked to examine what in its grips. Is it the person or a family member who will get the Johnson & Johnson? What is it that really ruffles you? And then can you thank that human being for being a mirror for you to then restructure yourself or to depatternize or uninstall these software programs that you're running that are keeping you in duality? That's what's so brilliant and intricately designed about this entire matrix, is that serving everyone.
And the other thing that's coming in right now is when you're going about your day and you're finding yourself irritated, agitated, angry, aggressive, wanting to fight against something. I'm going against, you can't tell me what to do. You're not gonna, tell me how to do things. Is there a way to detach from that and just flow? Is there a way to say, is there a way to know that this is what it is in this now moment? It has no impact on me. Because actually, if you think about it, if you're reactionary, if you're like, I'm going to put my hands up and I'm not doing that, then you're actually allowing it you're the victim to it and you're allowing it to control you. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, really, if you're holding a stance like that, it's like, well, you're not in a flow state. And you're now allowing it to dictate something to you. It's now impacting your beingness, right? And instead of saying it has no impact on me. I am sovereign. I am good. I don't have to resist or fight against anything. I don't have to put my hands like this and say, I am absolutely not going to do that. Now, that's not to say that you don't want to stand up for your rights, right? Like, you stand up for your rights. It's different. What I'm saying is this like childlike kind of like, I'm having a temper tantrum type of thing, right? Where you're going, I'm not doing it. That's a different energy than you're not going to jab me or you're not going to jab my kids, or I'm not putting my kids in that school. That's a very different energy than I am not doing this and you can't get to there's different energies. Should we talk to our person that we have here?
By the way, Lorie, real quick, is there a way to make all things equal?
No, no.
Okay, this is the first time. So next time we'll do it on your live.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So this is crazy because I've been sitting in my room listening to this live and I just felt like I was going to be on here, and I've never requested, and I just hit request and it just happened. So that's kind of insane.
That's so good.
Yeah, thank you. This is amazing. It's an honor to just meet you guys and to say hi face to face. You have been such massive parts of my journey over the last 4 months specifically.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Is there anything that you'd like to inquire?
Yeah. So I feel like I just came out of the deepest and hardest initiation that I've ever been through. Massive death, massive rebirth. And I have been in the space that I am in right now for 6 years. I entered this space after my parents split up. I got sick with chronic illness. A bunch of stuff happened at the same time in my life. And I went through a lot in this space. And just recently, I have felt like the world has been lifted off of my shoulders and the darkness is finally parting. And I'm feeling called to just walk right into my light and walk into the light. Like I'm ready to serve. I'm ready to just be that vessel. And there are constantly messages coming through. And I think what I've been sitting with is, I know it's time. I know I need to move forward. I'm ready. And where do I go? What does that look like? I have no money right now. I don't feel called to be doing, efforting, making money in the ways that the old paradigm asks us to. And I'm just here waiting, surrendering, receiving, meditating, just being and moving from a new space and a new energy and trusting that things will continue to be revealed. But I feel like I'm entering this brand new season, this brand new phase of my life, and I'm just not sure where to go. I'm not sure what that looks like, but I know that where I am right now is not where I want to be, and it doesn't serve me, and it doesn't necessarily feel like it honors me. But I also don't want to judge that if I'm meant to be here. So I don't know if that made sense or is even a question, but maybe, I don't know. Yeah, if there's any guidance on how I'm doing and what's next is kind of where I'm at. I'm in that space in between right now.
You want to go ahead, Lorie?
Well, the first thing, so there's a couple of things that were coming up as you were talking. So I'll just share the words. One is, I kept hearing your heart, your heart, your heart, your heart, your heart. So I don't know what's going on or what happened, but there's something around bringing more awareness to that heart center, that energy center. The other thing that was coming in was, so it's that cliche statement. First of all, being aware of what you're saying out loud. So a lot of times we speak and we're not even aware of what we're saying out loud. And I can't remember what you said because I was so focused, but you were saying things that made it sound like what you had just gone through was brought you to a place where you don't want to be. And actually what you just went through brought you exactly to where you need to be, right? Like, so, but the words you were using, because you don't like the feeling of where you are right now, it's almost like you threw away everything that you had just gone through to get you to where you are right now. It's just that you're still in it, so you don't realize where you are. You don't realize what you've done. You don't realize what's going on right now because you're still sort of in it. So it feels uncomfortable. It's not what you want. You want something different. You want it now. But the ability to have compassion for what you've just gone through, like a round of applause, really a pat on your back. We're really hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
We beat ourselves up. And the human journey is uncomfortable, right? There's a lot of times where we don't want to still be where we're at. But for you, it's a lot about going deeper into your heart, going deeper into that center, settling into that center and letting everything else go. Let the past go, let the people go, let the future go, because everything is right here, right now. And what you have gone through, what you have gone through to get to where you are right now is so commendable. You deserve a standing ovation. So to be able to hold that and to give that to yourself is really what's coming in really strongly right now for you.
That's really good. I feel like that message was applicable to so many people.
Yeah.
What I was getting at was the first thing that really struck me, that really stood out for me, was you said you're ready to walk into the light. And the guides want to remind you that you are the light. And so what I saw is that you're like, you need to become the star in the sky. You need to become the light, and the darkness is what you're going to walk into. You're going to walk in as the light, as this white flame, as this star that you are. The other thing I was getting for you and for everyone was you're always going to suffer when you're not committal to the frequency. You have to be committal to what it is that you know in your heart, because when you fall off that wagon of commitment, you're inviting in suffering. And we do this a lot. And I'll share a personal story real quick. I had a long journey with the gym where I used to be really addicted to it. And I'm not addicted to it anymore because I've learned what I need to do. Do I still have little things? I still have little strings and little things and little shreds of things that I'm working through. I'll tell you what was a big lesson for me. I used to not go and then be harsh with myself. And my guides taught me to jump in the shower, throw on jeans, and commit to the that you're not going. And slowly but surely, that feeling started to dissipate. It started dissipating because I closed the elevator door. But if you open the elevator doors and you're like, I'm committed to this, I'm working on myself, I trust, I have faith. And then 2 minutes later, you're like, but what's next? You're going back into linear. What's next is what's here. What's next is already working with you vibrationally. What's next wants to be energized by you. But it's in your quantum now. It's right here. So what you need to do is basically redirect your focus and fully commit to this knowingness that you hold that everything's going to pan out for you. Because as soon as you go back and forth, you're fighting in that suffering.
Right.
Every time we do this to our, because we have a lot of contradictive energy within our systems. Mm-hmm. I want this, but next. I know I'm on the right path, but am I? It's contradictory.
Yeah.
So it creates conflict, or you're self-inflicting pain.
Right. And thank you. What you just said there, it brought up, there's like a trauma or an attachment, I guess it is, that I've been working with for, well, the last 4 months. It has not left my space. It's like, you have to face it, you have to face it, you have to face it, of course. And one of the things that was pulling me back into that space was this potential or perceived attachment to family or to the way things have been. Or is it safe for me to be free? Is it safe for me to let go, or am I going to lose the people that I love? And going through some of those like deepest wounds, what feels like by myself on the human level, has been like unbearable a lot of days. And I've found so much strength and power within what I have sat with and held myself through. And I do truly feel different than I've ever felt about it in this moment. And I think like it just brought that forth. It's like there's been this little dangled trauma, like, oh, hey, it's this again. It's this again. Like, are you really ready? Are you supposed to be doing more of? Or are my, you know, loved ones' lives dependent on what I do or don't do in my life? Like, just some sort of like trauma from another embodiment, or I don't really know. But that's one of the things that would kind of like throw me off completely is why is this coming up? But I know we're not supposed to figure it out. We're just supposed to be with it.
Why does it need to be questioned? You have to think of it like this. By being present, things will naturally show up for you. So you don't need to focus on another embodiment. You just need to focus on the present moment awareness, having that present moment awareness. And as you navigate your world, different things will start to arise. And then you can tend to them by being present. You don't need to know where they originated from. You just need to be present.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, I feel that.
The other thing that's coming up on a completely different tangent is on an energetic level, your body has shifted dramatically. So I'm just going to give you an energetic lens, okay, that you may or may not recognize, but your body has shifted dramatically. And so what you want to pay attention to, and this is for all of us, when our bodies shift dramatically, which means that they're holding a lot more light, there's a lot more frequency in the body. This is what happens to us, because we've never done this before, and we don't have a booklet, okay? So what happens to us is we believe that we're still an older version. So we still hold sort of these thoughts of like, oh my God, the trauma's continuing, the trauma's continuing. We hold on to these old ways when we're actually free from it. So what that means is in the now moment, you may still feel triggers from your parents, okay? You may still feel stuck, or you may still feel any sort of like little tinges of whatever it may be with your parents, with family. But here's what you have to think about, okay? If I know with 100% certainty that my body has shifted into higher frequencies, that I've literally leveled up on an energetic level, and that what is occurring right now with my behaviors and with my thoughts is a version of me that I'm used to being in. That's why it feels like the hamster wheel. Yeah. Okay. So in the now moment, when you start to see the same thought or the same belief or the same trigger, choose a different way. Literally pull yourself into your body. Pull yourself into your body with your breath. Feel the difference. You are actually very different. But if we don't pay attention to what it feels like, we will immediately go back to an old version because it's a habit. And so the new version is energetic. It's energetic. So the more we can, like Phil said, the more present we can get, and the more you can move yourself into, wait, I know I'm different. I know I'm different. What is actually happening in here, the faster you'll shift out of it, because you're actually pulling yourself out of the matrix. The matrix is you're like, oh my God, more trauma. Oh my God, which it feels like. But as soon as you step into your body and feel more so spend 5 minutes every morning breathing, eyes closed, just breathe. Just feel your light, feel your frequency. The more you do that throughout the day, the more you're going to be free. The more whatever's happening with your family and your parents, it's not going to impact you anymore because you're breaking free from the matrix. You're already shifted. And everything you need is inside your physical form. The more present we get, which is also very uncomfortable, we don't like being present. If it's an uncomfortable sort of situation, we don't want to be present. But the presence is where everything is. It's the key. And whatever you're here to do, your blueprint, it's right here, right now. Already here.
Thank you. I literally did an hour meditation and just like went into a deep rest for basically the hour before your live started, which is pretty cool. Just timing wise.
Just remember one thing, that your guides are always, always initiating you into higher states of consciousness. And sometimes we have to go to the lowest realms to not be defined by the consciousness that realm holds. And are able to not be defined, labeled, categorized by these lower states of consciousness, then you become the master, then you become the embodied master. So the fear that you're holding right now is indicative of the upgrade that you're going through. But sometimes we need to be stripped all the way down until we're completely naked, metaphorically, and there's nothing left to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah.
There's nothing left to lose, everything to gain, because at that point, you have zero attachment to anything because you've died to the material realm. You have to die to the material plane.
Right.
And then you'll be able to reemerge.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that you won't have issues in the future. In other words, in 2011, I was very grateful because I died to everything, but little did I know that there would be more responsibilities in the future. So things are always going to creep back up, always, but it's only to bring you to an even higher state of consciousness.
Right.
So right now you're in at the bottom of the pit, and it's like, I want to go to the light, but you're speaking like the darkness. You need to be the light and be. Oh, they see me come out with my glow. I'm gonna come out with my glow. I'm gonna crawl out of this hole, and I'm gonna be so shiny. They're gonna get blinded by my light, and then I'll heal them, and I'll restore their spiritual vision.
Nice. That's good.
Love that.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that really resonates. Thank you. Because it's almost like you're reflecting what's being expressed for me. And internally, I feel like what we are talking about, if that made sense.
Yeah.
I find that as soon as I express or, I come out of this internal world, little bits of that old story are still coming out, or the energies. And so that's kind of where I'm at, is what you've been saying, is I'm noticing that, and I've been withdrawing a lot so that I'm really just being present and letting it all be stripped and not needing to say anything, share anything, do anything, just allow it to be done. Yes. Really. And just trust.
And I want everyone to register this. This entire matrix was an experience that we knew we would have that would expand us as a soul. And we knew there would be a lot of challenges and that we would be confronted with a lot of fears. But we also knew that it would fast track us as a soul because there's so much contrast here. There's all these different flavors, spices, all these different ingredients. And sometimes we get allergic, sometimes we're sick, sometimes we get all these things. But we have to remind ourselves that this entire journey is about untethering or disentangling from the illusion of materiality. Materiality is just vibration, is a vibration that became materialized. That's all. That's all it is. So everything has been designed for us to disentangle from people and what we expect them to be or how we expect them to behave. Right. Everything has been designed for us to realize there is no next. That's just part of a construct. And there are higher constructs that haven't been filed down yet. They have been. They're a little harder to find or to discover because very few are in that vibrational space.
Right.
But the Ascended Masters needed to dismantle the illusion to realize that, wow, I can have an incredible life and I don't have to effort. But very few will get there. You know why? Because very few are willing to go all the way with it. Very few say, I've done enough, pat on the back, I'm going to cash out now, and I'm going to get my casino at the casino. I'm going to get my chips. I'm going to turn them in. A lot of people do that. We want to get to a place where we don't choose, where everything is chosen for us. Mm-hmm. So right now, if you were to take an action, you would be choosing, and you know that deep down, which is why you can't take the action. You know that you would be choosing right now. That's your human choosing. That's not your higher self choosing for you.
Right.
And we know that deep down. We know it. And sometimes we disobey. we tell ourselves, oh, I'm going to sleep with this person and God won't know. I'm just going to separate off from God real quick and everything's going to be fine. It can be fine if you infuse that experience with love. It can. But for the most part, we know when we're being sneaky. We know.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I guess we'll invite someone else on. I think you're going to have to click the X button. Unless, Lorie, do you know?
Yeah, Chelsea, you have to click the little button.
Just like close out the whole live?
Yeah, close out the whole live.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks, love.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So much coming through. Holy cow.
I know.
There was so much coming through. I was like in an altered state. It was like ding.
Wow.
There was so much.
Oh my, we could have gone on all night.
Seriously. Like one of the other things really quickly that came through at the very end was you guys, this is just the beginning.
Just 1 second, because this was the message from Rex, so it was really important. But I'm almost done. 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I'm good.
Okay, wait. So this came in at the very end. So this is just we are masters in training. Chelsea's a master in training. So what she's going through is a training, right? Like it's and she's going to look back at this, right? And she's going to be like, oh man, I got a B on that training, right? And then she's going to come out of this and start to kind of move around and do whatever's next and what's next. And then boom, another like whoosh, training's going to happen, right? And these trainings really pull us into uncomfortable places where we have to get real dirty with the matrix, and we have to get real dirty with our own internal stuff. And we have to be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what is this? What is this? And then we come out and we're like, oh, that training was like I did like an A- on that training, right? And then off we go again. And then we have to get used to the trainings. We have to get used to the uncomfortable. We have to get used to not being, listen, this is what happens when you sort of step out of the matrix and you fall back into it. You realize that in the matrix, you've sort of been numb. But what do you mean emotions? What do you mean trauma? What do you mean? Like you're kind of numb in the matrix, where you're just pretending to sort of like you're just like on the surface, just sort of skating through, right? When you start to step out of the matrix and start to realize what you're in, you just get pummeled because you're awakening, you're shifting, you're pulling yourself out. So it's these constant trainings. We have to get used to the uncomfortable. The uncomfortable has got to be normalized, because then it's not a big deal. Next. We've got to make these things no big deal, because this is the beginning of like the rest of our lives mastering this matrix and this human journey.
Did I tell you the message I got last night?
No.
God is in the pummel.
Oh, yes, exactly. That's the message. Yes.
And not only is God in the pummel, but God also wants us to stand up when we get knocked on our ass.
Yes. And give ourselves a round of applause and be like, dude, I'm a bad ass. I was just pummeled to the ground. Like Chelsea should be standing up being like, I am amazing. I'm a rock star. I just got pummeled and I went through it, and I'm going to make it, and let's go. What's next? Bring on the next pummel. Like, let's make pummels normal, because God is in it's in everything.
God is in everything. God, I feel like God source, whatever you want to call it, that the universal energy is not necessarily imbued in everything, but it's always around. So for instance, I don't think God necessarily checks off on or signs off on go get hammered. You know what I mean? I think that's disconnection from God. However, I think that God is always there, allowing you to get things out of your system, and isn't judging you, but will always oversee your journey. I don't think God, though, has a hand in everything that you do.
No, because you have free will. So you're like,
you have free will. So a lot of us tend to partition off because we're not wanting to deal with what God wants us to deal with.
Right, like you're at a bar, right, and you're on your sixth drink, and if you were to actually come into an aligned state and check in with God would be like, listen, sweetheart, that's 6 too many beers for you. You know, like if we were always checking in with God, could you imagine? Dude, no, listen. How, like, how many times? That's great, though. Actually, if you always checked in with God in everything you did, imagine how aligned you would be.
Yeah.
Right?
How God would talk, sweetheart. You outdid yourself tonight.
You didn't need to do that.
You're annihilated right now.
Or you kind of wake up the next day in someone's bed and God's like, girl,
Yeah.
I told you last night, you know, but God has no judgment, right? So God's lovingly watching you. But I think what's powerful in this message, in this conversation, is if you really were to find yourself in an aligned state as often as you can, that aligned state is right here, right now, with your breath, with your body, with that kind of 0 point kind of focus where everything is all that is. You'll know what is aligned for you, and you'll either ignore it or you will adhere it and then just keep doing free will, right?
Yes.
Free will and divine will.
I do want to say, I want to allude to the fact that whether you drink or whatever you do, it doesn't mean that God's not there with you. I mean, some people might do it once in a while because they've been working so hard and they're making a deliberate and conscious choice to go off the deep end. Like they're making a conscious choice to disconnect from themselves. So it's not always bad. We want to get out of the bad or good game or the right or wrong game. But I don't think that God signs off on, let's say, murdering someone. I don't think that's okay, which is why it's so interesting that we're talking tonight about the jab, Johnson & Johnson, because there are higher levels of consciousness. There are. And murder isn't relative. I believe that it's a lower consciousness. What drives someone to murder, what drives someone to potentially wear a mask, what drives someone to potentially get the jab can be a lower consciousness. It can be
a lower consciousness.
We want to exclude that perspective either. We want to encompass every perspective. That's the difference. We want to include every perspective without things flying off the rails at a dinner table. Like, we need to learn how to become civilized again. We need to be able to exchange our opinions without getting rattled.
Bingo. That's huge. That's huge. And the way I practice that, although I failed today, the way I practice that when I don't fail my tests is lately, I would say the last couple of months, I literally ask myself, what would Jesus do? Or now, what would Mary Magdalene do? And when I ask myself that when I'm in conversation with my family or with friends or whoever it is, it really literally shifts me into a different lens. And that's the tool I use, because it allows me, because for whatever reason, coming into an aligned state, actually, if I come into an aligned state and breathe for a moment, like while the conversation is happening, I can get it pretty quickly as well. That aligned state of like, okay, all is well. This is all divine. We all have truth. We all have a space here. And I'm not right and you're not wrong. And, you know, I can come into that space, but the knee-jerk reaction is, you know, whatever that knee-jerk reaction is that we have.
You'll always be able to tell when someone's in a lower state of consciousness when they're imposing their ways on you. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
You can feel it.
You could feel it. It's you're shoving your stuff down my throat right now. And I was just minding my own business, and that's it. But I think when there's that shoving down the throat, that is a telltale sign that someone is not in their empowerment. Because I promise you, when you're in your empowerment, you don't try to convert people. You don't try to change people. That's tough for many, though. It's tough when you see your own family members getting it or getting the vaccine. But at the same time,
you have to honor.
You have to honor. You have to honor, and that's where they're choosing to be. My guides always say to me, people are exactly where they're choosing to be.
Even if they don't realize what they're choosing.
Yeah, if they're in a toxic relationship that's really detrimental, even if you tell them to leave, they're going to stay because they're choosing to be there. And sometimes you can't really source the lesson or fully get the lesson and bring it to completion unless you see to it that you finish that contract or that you bring that contract to completion. That's why a lot of people don't listen to each other, because they're going through something, they're trying to solve the puzzle, and the more that you tell them what to do or not do, the more you're going to drive them away.
So many lessons that we're learning right now how to be.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Silence is golden, though. Silence is golden, and silence emits such a potent frequency. It really does.
I was silent today and I didn't share my opinion on purpose because I knew if I shared my opinion, it would upset her, and I didn't need to.
Yeah.
I didn't need to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like humans are in their frequency, they're in their fear, they're in their whatever that is they're in the abusive relationship, right? And on an energetic level, my belief is, unless somebody's coming at me with something, right? Unless someone's trying to do something to me, if they're just doing them and speaking their truths, and my truth may not be that truth, I don't have any desire to try to have a conversation around it ever. What's the point, right? I don't see the reason for it. But you can kind of energetically feel when somebody's ready to open up, right?
You can.
Or when they're asking you for advice. Very different.
That's very different. People usually gravitate to you when they feel safe with you, or they know they can be, they can share openly and you won't judge them. Which just, it speaks to the power of silence. When they know that you're not judging them for their choices, they will always gravitate to you. They will.
I think that's why I received the text message an hour and a half later of like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, right? Because I didn't judge her. I didn't blame her. I didn't make her feel stupid. I didn't say, I let her be her frequency, even though I didn't agree with it.
Yeah.
And that's how we shift the entire human collective.
Yeah, we exactly. And I feel like there's also this component of we're truly not residing on the same earth. We're not. Everyone's occupying a different dimensional reality. Earth is multidimensional. Where do you think we access our multidimensionality? It's through her. So if Earth is multidimensional and we're matching her consciousness as these dimensional helpers, and we're starting to bring online our multidimensionality, then evidently not everyone is going to be on the same version of Earth.
Why are we getting so upset with people that aren't on the same version as us?
Yeah, they're not on the same version. So it just is what it is. It just is what it is. And I think right now there's this misconception that everyone's standing on the same earth, and we are not standing on the same earth. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a preference. It's also a product of the work that you've put in. It really.
And if you recognize, so like, I always like to think of it as like the Russian dolls, you know, where you pull one, then you pull the other, then you pull the other. You know, there's always do you know that doll where there's a doll inside the doll that's inside the doll? That's how I see it.
I think they're called babushka.
Oh, wow. Fancy that you know the name.
Got mad at me once because I said babushka and it was something else. Hold on. Let me.
I don't think that's the name.
I'm telling you, some people call them babushka.
I'm not sure that's the name. I think that means something else. But anyways, that's how I see the
Matryoshka doll.
What is it?
Matryoshka.
Okay. Well, that's how I see the quantum field. Doesn't mean it's definitely not a Russian doll. I think that means like loved one, babushka.
No, it's a babushka doll. Dude, I did it. It's a babushka doll.
Oh. Because I've actually used that before.
Yeah, babushka doll. So matryoshka and babushka.
Okay, so a babushka doll, right? So if this is great though, because I see the third dimension and the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension as babushka dolls, right? The Russian dolls. And so what you're pointing at right now is really, really important, because we are holding different frequencies, and we're all holding different frequencies. We're all using different lenses. The way you shift the entire human collective is you stay in your frequency. You stay in your dimensional field. You stay in it while you're turning and looking at the other dimensional fields. And the way you pull, the way you shift it, is you stay in your frequency and you don't get pulled back down like I did today, right? I got pulled back down. We don't get pulled back down by the way humans are being. We lead by example. We
Yeah.
lead by example. We say, no, I'm not getting that. Why are you not getting it? Because of ... But we don't turn and start to, go at the other person, because then you're falling back down into that lower frequency. So how do I stay in the higher frequency, that the other earth that I'm standing in, right? How do I stay in that while all this other stuff is going on, while I speak my truth, while I say no, and how that's the key. How do we do that?
The other thing I'm getting right now is, how do you stay in that space? Not through defensiveness, right?
Exactly.
Like holding on to that dimension. You're not defining as or over identifying as and through whatever that dimension is offering you. Because
so there's no attachment.
No, because it can get so slippery sometimes, because people are like, this is who I am, or this, I'm woke now. And everyone else, which only perpetuates hierarchy. So what we want to do is not be threatened by any experience that people are having. So we can literally bop around and float around in this field of existence, but still holding true to our own frequency.
Our sovereignty.
Yeah. Because I see
sovereignty
all the time. I mean, we even saw it in Mexico, where people were like getting on their high horse around like, oh, these people, but there's so much judgment that when they were speaking, that if it wasn't for those people, how would you know that you still hold that judgment? Those people are a gift to you right now. They're an offering to you right now. So everything is an offering. And to say that it's not would be to disregard God's brilliance. God's brilliance placed it there for you to look at yourself and say, oh, wow, I get to accelerate my process right now by bringing my focus to everything that I don't like.
Yeah.
To get clear on what I do like and to not judge what I dislike.
Right.
To get clear on what I do like and to not judge what I dislike.
To not judge what I dislike. That's huge. Not judge. Say it again.
And to get clearer on what I do like. Meaning for me, I'm not interested in dating somebody who wears a mask all day. I have a right. Just like I have a right to get a tattoo or not get a tattoo. Just like I have a right to have a kombucha or a Diet Coke. I have a right to not date someone who would wear that all day. It doesn't make me bad.
Think about what's being asked of us.
We're being asked to get super clear so that we can pair up with the right people. Right? And if you have more people not judging what they dislike, so this is good. If you group up and couple up with people who don't judge what they dislike, then the whole light, quote, on this planet begins to raise.
Exactly. And we are standing in the quantum field, which means we're standing with all the other humans that are holding different frequencies. So we are being asked every second of the day to stop judging, to lead by example, to hold your frequency, to ask how is this asking you to step into higher states? What is this about you? What is this for you, right? What opportunity is God or source giving you in this now moment, detached with non-judgment? If you imagine, like you said, bopping around, I love that. Because that's a flow state, right? You're just bopping through these different frequencies, these different dimensional fields, all the different humans, right? And if you know that your role is to bop and to constantly only be focused on what is happening right here, right now. What is my sovereignty? What is my frequency? What is my truth? Regardless of who I'm bumping up against, regardless of what they say to me, regardless of their choices, regardless of what my friend was saying when I was hanging, like regardless of any of that I am here to solely be responsible for my sovereignty, my energy, my frequency, my light, because I'm a way shower and I'm leading the way forward. How often am I judging? How often am I attaching? And can I allow the other humans in different frequencies and different dimensional fields to do or say whatever they need to, and can I still hold sovereignty?
Oh, that's good. Oh, I'm getting another message right now. I'm getting such a good message right now that ties in with what you just said. So if you decide that nothing that's going on around you is going to affect you, then obviously you can go and live on a land somewhere off grid. But if you do that, there's nothing wrong with that choice, but you've basically beat the game and the game's over. The better option, in my opinion, is to go, okay, I'm no longer affected and can no longer be infected by what's going on around me. I've beat the game because whatever people decide doesn't affect me. It doesn't take a toll on me. So now I'm going to go back in the game as this person who is unaffected. And the word I'm hearing is unperturbed. So you're unconcerned. You're in the game, but you've already beat the game, and you're going back in the game unperturbed, unconcerned with what people decide. But by doing that, you get to be the beacon of light. You get to be this person who is a walking antenna of non-judgment.
That to me is the master. That's what we are all being every single day. What you just said, that is what we are being trained for every single day, whatever we are going through. I deeply believe this. Whatever we are going through in every now moment, Chelsea just went through whatever she went through. It is training her to be exactly what you said. This is why we're here on the earth plane, is to be able to do exactly what you just said.
Yes, because again, there's nothing wrong if you decide to go live off grid and just farm the rest of your life. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if it brings you joy. If it brings you joy, have at it. If it brings you joy, opt into that option. But I do believe that we are here to be part of this game because it's so exciting and so riveting and so gut-wrenching at times. But we're supposed to be a part of it. But like you say, you're meant to, what did you say? You're in the matrix, but you're not of the matrix. That's what you say. I love that saying.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll always know that you still have a limb that's caught in duality if things irk you. You'll always know.
Yep.
So that part of you that is focused, like laser focused on what people aren't doing or should be doing, that part of you is a part of you that still holds judgment, which is keeping you entrenched in the duality matrix, in the duality reality. And so there's still more integration to be had.
Yep.
There's more integration to be had. You need to get to a place where your focus is on higher things. It's on higher things. And when you walk around, people know that you're somewhere else. And they're like, whoa, what is that about this person?
Yeah, it's an embodiment. It's an embodiment. It's like it's an embodiment of your light. It's like you are, it's like you're in it, but you're not in it. It's like you're here, but you're not here. It's a massive grounded embodiment.
Yes. And I've noticed even with myself, when I walk by people who wear a mask, I always get out of the way and they're always very nice. Hey, thank you. Or hi, how are you? But in the beginning, when the thing was very irritable to me, I would walk straight and there was a backlash. That backlash pointed to a frequency within me that had a problem with it. So because I was walking straight. By the way, there was nothing wrong with me doing that because who says they own the sidewalk, right? But the master, what Jesus would do is I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna curve around, and then people are very nice. You have to pick your battles in life,
especially right now.
You have to, and also be recognizant of the fact that the matrix, the hologram that you're residing within, is always going to be a feedback system.
Yeah.
So why are people constantly lashing out at you? What are you doing to provoke them? Now, some of that is going to be circumstantial. You can be the nicest person in the world. You still move out of their way and they'll still be mean. Some of it is out of your control. But for the most part, if you're neutral if your heart is open, if you're considerate, if you're compassionate, and you serve people, meaning you turn your other cheek, people are going to be very nice.
And again, that's how you shift the human collective.
Yes.
It really is. We lead by this example. This, I mean, I keep saying it, but it's like it can't get drilled into our heads more. We forget what we're doing here.
Yeah.
We're leading a collective into completely different states of consciousness by being those states of consciousness. Right? Like,
yeah. And absolutely. And then a higher rendition of all of that we discussed today is maybe every individual is going to go somewhere different, and maybe that's okay. Maybe they're meant to experience exactly what they want to experience, and maybe when they die or transition, they have their own universe that's comprised of all of their beliefs and all their different babies, all their different frequencies. I mean, there are many planets in the galaxy. So what if you have your own planet? What if I have my own planet, and when I incarnate, I reincarnate into the planet of my making? I'm reincarnating in the game that I want to be a part of, that I created.
Man, it's all about non-attachment.
About non-attachment.
It just hit me so hard. Like, wait a second. Like, sometimes I'll do this thing where I'll step out of being a human. And I'll be like, okay, I'm not the human right now. And I am my consciousness, my spirit, soul, whatever. How would I be grading, or how would I be looking down at Lorie right now? Like, is she taking things too seriously? Is she judging too much? Is she like, so I'll do this perspective every once in a while. And it's like, okay, Lorie, you're taking things way too seriously, and there's way too much attachment, right? Like, yes, you believe that everybody's shifting the human collective. Yes, you believe, but what if you just let go of that attachment? Like, what if you even let go of that attachment? Like, ouch.
Yeah.
Wait, what? That's my thing. That's what do you mean? Let go of that attachment. Like, yeah, it's fascinating to really dive into, the deeper and deeper we go in terms of how we can actually be in the human form, the more it feels like it's almost as if we are, I don't want to say floating, but it's like there's this, it's a beingness without, you're still the human, but it's a beingness that is so free that nothing matters, so free that you're not impacted by anything, so free that, but can you still make a change? Can you still make a difference? Can you still impact? Can you still teach from that space?
Yeah, you can teach even more effectively and even more prolifically. Because if everything slipped off of you already, then everything you share is going to hold a resonance. It's going to have bass. It's like a song that has bass. Voo, voo. Like, this person means business. This person has done their work. That this person is otherworldly.
Everything slips off of you.
Everything slips off of you. Everything.
So here's the piece, you guys. Like, the more we can be the observer.
Yes.
The more we can observe every now moment we're in, the more free we become, because we realize how much choice we actually have in everything. And then we can say, okay, next time that happens, I'm going to do it this way. Next time that happens, I'm going to do it this way. Oh my God, look at how I'm being in this now moment. Look at how I'm being in this now moment. And not beat ourselves up. Like, I've had a couple of, massive sort of like tests, right? And it was like, okay, well, that wasn't the greatest success story, but do I beat myself up? No. I learned from it so that I can choose a new way. I know it'll never happen again. When that situation comes again, I'm going to choose differently, because I observed and I didn't judge, and it was never about the other person. It was never about the other person. For me, it never is about the other person, no matter what they say, think, do, whatever. It's always about me and how I choose to move through it.
The other thing that I want to share, this is really important, is with whatever you've been given or presented with right now, the situation that you're in, the relationship that you're in, the job that you're at, become as conscious as you can within that dynamic. Become as conscious as you can. Because what I've learned, right, and I caught myself doing this last week, I was like, I wish I could go back to the time when I was, working under the table, because my life was so much simpler back then. And what I've learned is that if I had moments back then where I was trying to escape, or I was trying to leave that situation, that unconscious energy bled through into my now. So that unconscious energy is calling me now to patch up that crack. Concept. But the idea is, if you're not fully appreciative of where you are right now, there's going to be a hole in your aura. And that unconscious energy is going to bleed through into another chapter of your life. At which point you'll say, I wish I could go back. Because, right? Because I want to fill in that space with more consciousness.
Oh, that's so good. Holy cow.
Quantum. It's quantum. So what I'm saying is, make sure that before you depart your situation and graduate into the next, that you've covered every angle, that you've covered all bases. Because if you don't, that energy will bleed through, and you'll have a future version that you were wishing for that's actually going to slap you in the face and say, now you wish you were back where you were, don't you?
I see it as this. God, that's so good.
Okay.
So you have this situation. You have the situation, let's say it's a relationship, okay? And for whatever reason, it doesn't fully close. You don't fully experience, surrender, allow the whole relationship to be what it was designed to be. And so you exit early, or you exit in a dissonance, you exit in a denial of some sort. And so here you go. Wait, here it is. And you start to walk away from it, and there's an energetic cord.
Ooh, yes.
That ties you, right? And so imagine so then you have another experience, right? And you don't complete it. You're not completely conscious and devouring the entire experience to its wholeness. You're eating the entire pizza up, right? Devouring it all so that it's clear and whole, and then you can walk separate from it. It's done. That's the now moment. That's the present moment. That's the flow state, right? But imagine you have another relationship like you're talking about, and then there's another cord, and there's another cord. It's like, no wonder humans are always like so tied back to these
unfinished business. The other thing that's coming through, this is so good. The other thing that's coming through, we're just getting warmed up, Lorie. I mean, in terms of our careers and this mission, the other thing that's coming through is, if you think about this chapter that you're finally in, and you keep reminiscing on the past and how you wish you were back there, what are you doing? You're effectively trying to run from the now moment that you're currently in. So it's still an escapism. It's still an escapism. So like you said, there's a cord, and that frequency keeps pulling you back in, because that frequency is still pulsating with consciousness.
Yep.
That frequency is an aspect of yourself that is in your now, but happens to be in a parallel timeline, which was your previous now.
Yep.
And it's calling you to it. And the reason why you're not able to, why you keep reminiscing on the past, missing that you were, hoping that you were there, is because you're not being present with what's here. And what you could do is rectify the past frequency by being fully immersed in this now. You could rectify the past frequency by being fully immersed in your now.
And fully immersed in the now means you accept all of it. You accept everything. You accept it all.
Including the fact that you weren't present in that previous now.
Right.
And that there's a bleed through that you need to, you need to finish the business. You need to complete.
But think about accepting, even in our own, you and I's lives, right? Accepting everything, accepting in the moments where it's the most challenging to accepting those. If we just learn to accept every single freaking now moment, and we without any attachment or any judgment, any narrative, any storyline. Think about that. No storyline to the experience.
I'm getting something too. When that fear creeps up on you, it's because there's a higher frequency that's bringing it to the surface. There's a higher intelligence bringing that lower frequency of fear to the surface. So why are you trying to solve something within the lower range when the higher frequency is with you in that moment? Why don't you just hug and cozy up with the higher intelligence?
Oh, why do we choose the fear?
Why do we choose the fear instead of this higher energy that loves you? This higher energy that is actually alchemizing that frequency, meaning it's going to do it for you. It's going to freaking alchemize that energy for you. But in order to do that, it needs to bring it up to the surface. All you need to do is allow it to come up.
Right.
Out of your body.
Right.
But
and let go.
What we do is we start flailing. And so in that moment, you're believing the very thing that's exiting your body. It's exiting your body. You have to get out of your own way. You have to allow this higher intelligence that is with you in that moment to alchemize that frequency, to move it up and out.
Is what we do. So imagine it's actually, that's so good. Imagine it's actually like physically leaving, like a baby crying, right? And it's actually physically leaving your body. And what we do when we start to feel a lot of fear is we're out of control. Fear creates this sense of not being in control, right? And so we grab it and we're like, no, I need to control. I need to figure this out. I need to do this, right? And we hold. And so there's like this cycle that happens. We're holding it when it wants to just naturally flow, like just move out of us, while there's this energetic, like, no, you've got this, like, let's go, let's expand, let's move into flow, let's move into it, let's move into expansion, let's move into freaking freedom. Let's learn how to let everything just go through you. Like, let it just go through you. Like, let it just move through you. There's always that higher intelligence in every now moment, whatever. If you're going through a divorce, if you're going through a breakup, if you're going through losing a job, if you're going through, losing your luggage for 11 hours at the airport, like whatever you may be, somebody stealing money from you, right? Like whatever you're going through, there's always that higher intelligence that's kind of holding you, like, you've got, it's all good. Just drop.
You know what's crazy? As you said, you got this. The intelligence said, you don't have this. Let me get this.
Right. Even yes.
Got this? You got this for sure. You got this, meaning just breathe. Allow it to pass through. But let me get this.
I don't need to have this.
And then the guides also said, that's why we created ceilings. And what they meant, they just said that now. They're like, we created ceilings because you're supposed to treat it like this higher intelligence that's going to vacuum all this fear.
So get this. What if every time we had those moments of massive amounts of fear, anxiety, stress, worry, which for a lot of us, we're having a lot right now. What if we recognize that moment? By the way, the only way you recognize you're feeling that is that you're the observer, like you're recognizing what you're going through, because a lot of humans don't even recognize it, right? So you're observing what you're going through. And in that moment, you're like, wait a second, this is the position I'm supposed to be in. This, like, okay, like letting go, literally like putting my hands up, letting go, and just allowing it, knowing that this God source, this thing up here is holding me. It's holding me with so much light. I'm so safe. I've always been safe. I've never not been safe. No matter what I've gone through, I've never not been safe. This has always been holding me. It's an illusion that we haven't been safe in every now moment, even in our darkest moments. And
yes.
So if we remember that we are always held, that we can let go, that this has us, like physically you can visualize this energetic sort of thing. Beam that's got us, and that we are safe to just let everything just move through us without control, judgment, or attachment. Practice that. Like when I was at the airport and my plane shut down, the doors shut, and I was like, oh my mother freak, what am I going to do now? Instead, when I started to feel the fear, what if in that now moment, instead of panicking, I sat, knew that I had this massive force of protection, that I was safe. Instead of going into fear of holy shit, what if I went into I am so safe?
You know what I'm loving about this right now? I'm loving that as you just described what you went through and how you could have gone through it in a different way, on a parallel timeline, you did go through it in that different way. And so we're here as like these tutors going, so I did this and I'm going through, but then the other version is like, I could have reacted this way and I wouldn't have judged it. Like, it's so crazy how as you're talking, I'm seeing your multidimensional self talking about all your different aspects. And they're always going to exist, all of them.
It's a choice.
But what you did really good with is you didn't judge it. You panicked, but you didn't judge it.
No, I never judge.
It's beautiful.
I never judge. I can't judge myself. What's the point of judging yourself? You know, like, why are you're just being human?
Don't you love the visual of like right now you just gave us a dissertation. I saw you with a blackboard. Like, so my version of myself didn't panic, you know, and she was observing me panicking. And then in that other reality, that version of yourself is like doing a different dissertation where it's talking about what you went through. It's just powerful.
It also speaks to the fact that we literally are creator beings. Meaning that there is nothing set in stone. There is nothing set in stone. There is always an opportunity to choose the version of you that you are in that now moment that is standing right there also. There's always an opportunity to, a lot of people get into this funk of like, well, this is who I am, or this is what I do, or this is what's passed down to me, or they get stuck in these boxes, and it's like, no. There's so many infinite versions of you in the now moment that you can choose to be. It's all about choice. It's all about choice.
And I think we all need to start aiming higher to maybe find out what is beyond that. What is beyond all these infinite selves? What is beyond all these alternate realities? What is beyond all these parallel timelines? Because here's the thing, we've already gained access to our multidimensional self.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're aware of every aspect of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm aware of every aspect of myself, well, that I'm aware of right now. But what if we were to move beyond that?
I mean, the way I would see it, honestly, what I see is the light that's always on me.
So let me ask you this. You talk about how you panicked. What would be different now if you hadn't panicked? That's what I'm asking. Because there's a part of you that wants to, this is a conversation that we would have as friends, right? But there's a part of you that wanted to not panic.
Yes, for sure. 1,000%.
What would the upgrade have been if you hadn't panicked? That's a good question. I like that.
The upgrade would have been like literally step by step. What would it have looked like?
If you had physically not panicked and done everything you wish you had done.
Okay.
Where would you be today? Oh my God, the human collective is not ready for us.
Yeah.
But
okay.
They are.
Yeah, they are. So is it weird to say that I wouldn't be anywhere different?
No, it's not weird at all.
I don't. So.
But what would have been the upgrade? Because there's a part of you that wishes
for
that
100%. What would have been the upgrade? The upgrade would have been that when there is fear induced in my body, there's no reaction. There's no reaction. It is like as if somebody were to make me laugh. Like when someone makes you laugh, there's not a reaction other than you laugh.
But here's the thing, you get to experience non-reaction all day. So what is it about that, not having a reaction to that, that would have felt different than not being reactive throughout your day?
This is deep. Hold on.
You're non-reactive all day. So what is it about that though? What, like, why that? Like,
right.
Reactive all the time.
Why? Wait, why? Hold on a second. Wait, let me get here for a second. Hold on.
Why though?
Why? Everyone listening is probably like, what the frick are they talking about?
No, because I don't want to sound like I'm prodding. I'm literally interested because I'm trying to figure it out too as I listen to you.
Okay, ask me again so I can get deeper into the question. Go.
Okay. So you are non-reactive all day.
Yeah, super flow.
So in your mind, you're like, well, if I hadn't been reactive, then I would have just had grace and peace and ease. But you have that all the time. So what is it about that particular circumstance? Well, how would the upgrade have been different?
I don't think there would have been any. I think it's freaking pointless. I don't think there was any I don't think there's any upgrade that would have happened. I think that what would the upgrade have been?
What would it have been?
So at the end of the day,
I can share an insight.
Yeah.
I think the upgrade would have been that the non-reactiveness that you feel throughout your day is due to aspects of yourself that you integrated. So they don't ruffle your feathers anymore. And I think something about the situation really brought up a frequency that was deeply embedded.
Oh.
And so upgrade would have been, I'm no longer governed by this particular frequency.
I see what you were getting at. I couldn't go there. I couldn't get there.
I just got that now.
I couldn't get there.
I also validate your perspective that who cares? Like, what would it have done? Nothing. Now we have a story and people got to enjoy it on the live.
Do you think, I'm wondering if it has, I'm wondering if it's about, for me personally, if it's about control. So I'm wondering if, because when I'm in a flow state, I also feel like I'm still in control.
Right.
There's aspects of me that feel comfortable in flow. So when I'm in flow and it's when you're in flow, it's super comfortable, at least for me. It feels very natural, right? And so there's this false sense of control. So can you be in a flow state uncomfortably?
Ooh. Can you be in a flow state uncomfortably?
Out of control. Because I was in a flow state.
Got it. I just got it. It just plopped in. No. Because now I believe that even if you weren't, oh my God, this is so good. It doesn't matter if you panicked or not, because the memory still lives and you can always gain the lesson from the memory. So it doesn't matter because all of those aspects are going to go through it, whether it's you or another human, because every aspect has to go through it. So now you know you're never going to let that happen again. That's claiming ownership on your reality. That's you having creative control. So in other words, earlier we were talking about someone getting raped. It's like that will never happen again. What if there's nothing wrong with saying, I never want this to happen again because I am the creator and I don't want this, I will not allow this to happen again.
I am stating that.
Yeah. So maybe it doesn't matter. whether you panicked or not, because what came out of it, the takeaway was you're not going to let it happen again anymore.
And I think also the takeaway, now that we're talking about it, I think the takeaway for me is really allowing there's no such thing as a non-flow state, meaning everything is an opportunity to be a flow state. So for me, if I run up against something that feels like a stop or a block or it's like the river was flowing and then a boulder came, right? And the boulder stopped. So is there, the takeaway for me would be, how do I remain in a flow state when a huge rapid just hit me? Because it's hard to stay in a flow state when the rapids are really mother freaking rough. You're like, wait a second, everything was real cool. I was like cruising down this river. The sun was on me. I was chilling. Everything was great. You're still in that flow state. Nothing's changed. You're still flowing through the river, but a massive freaking boulder just dropped and then the rapids got tight. So for me, I think it's, how do I stay in that flow when it starts to feel like I'm no longer in control? Because for me, when I'm in flow, it feels very controllable, but it's not about being in control.
Well, here's what's interesting, though. Isn't everything that we're undergoing enabling us to gain more clarity on what we want? So we can look at this from different angles. We can look at it from the angle of, I know that this needed to happen because I'm going to be so successful that I'll never be on a regular plane again. I'll be on a private jet. That's one angle.
Right, getting clear on what you want.
One angle is, I didn't like this experience. I'm going to use this as a driving fuel to freaking become the most prolific teacher on this planet and be on private jets. Nothing wrong with that. You're choosing a different experience.
1000%. For
right?
sure.
But if you're like, oh, I'm going to keep being in this and I'm going to keep maybe getting pummeled and maybe getting pummeled again.
Right.
It's not unlike a relationship where you're like, oh, well, I'll just stay in this relationship over and over and over and over again, and nothing ever changes because the planes always fuck up. So the better option is, how about private jets?
I mean, it's very true because it's allowing, that's more of an empowered state if you think of that.
It's like those people who discourage their children from becoming a singer, and they're like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to claim my sovereignty because I know I am that.
Right.
I'm not going to intertangle myself in other dimensions. I'm going to create my own dimension.
And that's the part about it's meant to be easy. It's not meant to be hard. Life isn't meant to be hard.
Not meant to be hard. And the thing is, when we go to the airport, is because we need something from that airport.
God, this is good about the empowerment.
Something from it. So whenever you need something from another, you're always going to be at the mercy of what could go wrong.
So every situation that you find yourself in that feels like a resistance or a block or a let's just say no longer even in a flow state, just sort of like, oof, that just stopped me in my tracks, or that rattled me, or whatever it is. We can also look at it as, does this serve you? Is this serving you? And if not, how do you want it? How do you want to be served now? How do you want it? How do you want it now?
Touchdown. That's really
so if you're in a relationship, right, and you're forcing, trying, let's make it work. What if you just said, how do I want to be served? Do I want to continue to force an effort, or do I want to courageously and boldly let go? and ask for what I want.
Also, in a relationship, we tiptoe around, hoping things are going to get better. At the airport, we're doing the same. I'm tiptoeing, hoping I'm going to get my luggage.
Shoot, there was no tiptoeing. That was not a tiptoe. That was a a lot.
Goes off. But I'm saying, like, I think what it boils down to, and I think this is the point I'm trying to drive home for everyone, is it depends how you want to play the game.
Yeah.
But whatever you choose, you only have one life, and you get to decide what that game's going to be. You're creating and making that game.
And there's no right or wrong. There's no like, well, why did that happen to me? Like, what, we always want to know the why, right? Even with Chelsea, it was like, why is this happening to me? Why? And really letting go of the why, like letting go of the why. Because there's 1,000 different whys. Why that happened. We could go down, like you're saying, there's many different whys of why that could have happened. Well, Lorie, you're supposed to learn how to move through that with more flow and ease. Well, you're actually supposed to create the private jet. Well, like there's all these different whys. And we're trying to figure out one why as to why this is happening, to pigeonhole it, to make sense of it, to be in control, right? Like that's the whys is so that we can control. We can feel like we have a sense of control over what's going on and why it happened.
So then that segues into the next question. And it's not a question for you, it's a question in general. Is the person who's on a private jet bypassing?
I mean, yes and no.
Physically bypassing.
Is the person that went and lived on the farm, are they bypassing?
That's the thing. It's all relative.
Right.
So is the person on the jet bypassing? I would say yeah, because they don't have to do lineups.
I mean, they're bypassing a lot of human triggers, and they're bypassing a lot of like opportunity to move into higher states of consciousness. Yeah. But is that a bad thing? I mean, they're still human. They're still going to touch down somewhere. They're still going to have to get off the private plane. They're still going to have to walk through.
Yes.
Right. So, I think for that moment, they're giving themselves a pat on the back and a gift, right? Like, good job. This is what we're going to give you, or you're going to give yourself.
Yes.
And even the people that move to the farms or do all of that, it's like, we do what we need to do to survive right now. And some people need to actually like literally like check out in order to survive what, this chaos that we're in, or,
yeah.
And a lot of us, like you and I, are like, bring it on, like put me right in the middle of it. Like, let's do this. Right. We're ready. So and then there's all these humans in between.
Yeah. Awesome conversation. Oh my God, we could talk for 8 hours.
We just forget that there's people.
We forget there's people sometimes. But there are people, and they're your people, and we are their people, and we're all but I love so many things that you shared tonight.
We shared some good stuff.
And I feel like we didn't go all the way in, but if we went all the way in all the time, then that'd be fine. But I think we wanted to kind of warm up a little bit, because the first met on camera, we hadn't met in person.
No. And I think we have to get used to how we work, how we flow. It feels like we do this thing where it's like we'll go in a little bit and then we'll pull back out, and then we'll go in and then we'll pull back out, right? And it's like how deep in do we want to go, and then we kind of pull ourselves back out, right? Yeah. That's what it feels like. Like there's this, we start to go, and then it's like this, and then come back out, and then we go in, come back out. I think people were with us the whole time with all of it, though. I don't think it was.
I think so too. I love you, and we're doing this, and I think that for all of us, like, this planet is so crazy because there's so many different frequencies firing off from every angle, and I really believe that we're here to create our own little heaven on earth. I really believe that, and there's no judgment around how someone wants to do that. I think that if we want to be on the private jet, then great. If we want to, I think it's all good. But I do think, like you always say, it's important to integrate the lesson, to not try. That's something you said that was really profound on our trip, You said that you have to stop trying to manage everything. Do you want to touch on that just for a minute before we go?
Was I telling it to you personally?
About my stuff, and it's like, don't try to manage everything all the time. And
I don't even remember.
it was so profound. It was something around like, when we travel, are we truly being in the flow? Are we truly jumping into the flow? Like, I got a hotel that had a gym. Did I really need to look for a hotel that had a gym? Did I? I guess that's relative. But was I managing? Probably. I was like, oh, I think I want to work out while I'm there, which I'm glad I did because I actually had a really good time. But can we maybe manage less? Can we maybe step out of our box and fully step out of our box?
Yeah, I think when we find ourselves managing life, when we find ourselves trying to manage it, control it, put it in a checklist, right? Like linear, like I do this and then I do this and then I do this and then I do this. It's really cutting ourselves off from the quantum field, because what you're doing is you are restricting that the opportunity that may be available to us, right? When we managing things is a very safe way of living, so it makes sense. But when you start to stop managing and you move more into, this is always watching over me, I mean, that's a huge lesson. It's almost as good as the you know what that we haven't said yet. Like, this is an excellent thing to actually think about all the time, there's this omnipresence, source, consciousness, God, whatever, that is all, I mean, like, to know that it's to really physically hold that awareness, you may start to live your life a little bit differently, because you may not need to manage if you knew that all was really actually well, that you are good and safe. And do you really need to find this, and then you get to make the choice. Well, yeah, I do really want that gym. I really want that. But the way I travel is I hold the intention of what I want. I want a place that's ... But then I let go of everything. So I don't try to micromanage it or manage it or make sure that it is what it is that I'm hoping that it is. So there's an intention that you want around the way you're navigating your life, but you also want to let go of any sort of management that you're doing with it, so that there's no expectation, there's no suffering, there's no any of that. It's both, right? It's this both.
I think it's both, for the prime purpose that the life that I'm living right now is the life that I love, right? So why not take that with me in my luggage?
Yep.
I love my life. It's the life that I chose to live.
Right. But also at the exact same time, let go of any sort of, and you did great. Like when you did great with the whole thing. But when you arrive, or when you're going through, when you're taking your kid to a new school, you have this intention or expectation of how it is, and then it doesn't show up that way. There's an irritability, an anger, a rage, a frustration, or whatever that is, because it's no longer manageable, right? Now I can't manage this situation because there was an attachment to it. So how do I learn how to navigate and let go of trying to manage anything? Again, it comes back to that flow state, right? Where you're letting the situation move through you, right? And you said this a couple nights ago. We let the matrix move through us. What was it that you said? It was so good.
You let
the matrix move through you?
Oh, I said that you transmute the matrix.
Yes. Imagine,
yes, you are letting, yes. You are a transformer, you're a transmuter. As these energies cycle through you, you're helping them evolve. As these consciousnesses cycle through you, you're helping them evolve. You're not restricting. You're not precluding them from ascending. You have to start looking at every consciousness as wanting to ascend. And rather than shunning them or turning them away, you say, if you came to me, you felt safe enough. This is really good. If you came to me, you felt safe enough. And I'm not going to deem you as a demon. I'm not going to see you as anything negative. If you came to me, it means that there's something that I can support you with. These are energies. They're invisible energies. Your emotions are energies in motion. They are coming to you. The anger is coming to you as a consciousness that feels safe enough to come to you because it's hoping that you're going to provide a space for it to move and ascend through you. So your body is acting as this vehicle to spiral that energy upward. Think of the service in that. Think of the service in that. You know, you think about taking your friends out to dinner. If you're third dimensional, you're going to say, oh, but I'm losing money because I'm taking my friends out to dinner. But if you say, I'm going to serve my friends tonight, I'm going to take them out. Think of the service that is to the universe. You make everyone else feel seen. You help everyone else up. You lift them up. You lift them up. So that's what you're doing for your emotions. You're taking the anger, you're taking the sadness, you're taking the frustration, and you're saying, I'm going to be of service to every energy that feels safe enough to gravitate to me. I'm going to be of service, and I'm going to cater to every emotion that has selected me right now. What an honor this is. They felt safe enough to jump into my arms because they've been shunned by so many others.
And you're doing a service to humanity by doing that.
And it's hungry. And it's starving, and it's coming to you because it knows you're going to feed it.
If you had the lens of that you are serving humanity by allowing yourself to transmute or whatever that word was that you used, what comes through you, imagine how courageous we would be. It wouldn't be about us anymore, right?
No, I mean, I've even stepped into this space in the last 2 days with my accountant that I don't know that I trust. And I came to this really comfortable space within me where it's like, if he needs the money, and if he is not the best accountant, if he needs the money, I'll give it to him. If he's overcharging and he really needs to overcharge because he still has lack in him, he can have it. He can have it. That's okay.
Because if you know that you're always taking care of that light, that tube of light is coming down on you.
Yeah. That tube of light is coming down on you, and the universe is always going to fill your pockets back up in every sense of the word. Always. It's going to fill it up with more health, more joy, more peace, because you're fully aware of the power that is within you, that is abundant, that is unlimited.
And your guides, your higher self, the universe, source, God, will bring somebody in that is a better suit for your next desire or experience with an accountant, right? So you're also wanting to get clear on what you want.
Yeah, because I love myself too much to have my peace stolen from me.
Right. So you got an A+ because you allowed him to be him.
Yes.
And you knew you were safe and okay. Right. And then it became the next thing then is, but what do you want?
Yes. And what I want isn't something that has to be efforted because it's going to match the frequency of peace that I'm choosing to commit to.
Right.
It's going to match the frequency of peace that I'm...
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a personal question.
Okay.
Okay.
My turn.
Prior to
I'm
getting...
I'm in the hot seat. I'm in the hot seat.
Prior to getting the accountant, we don't have to go into details of like your situation, but was there a fear around getting the accountant?
No. Because I never had an accountant before because I wasn't legal. So I accountants.
Was there a fear around taxes?
No, I wanted taxes. I wanted to be legal. When I made the decision to go for my green card, I was like, I cannot wait to pay taxes so I can travel the world.
Okay, so then my next question would be, if, let's just say, we don't know, if the accountant is a little off the straight and narrow, why, but we're not really asking why questions, but let's just say, why do you think that came into your field?
It's an energy that's been perpetually coming into my field. which has nothing to do with money, which has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with reassurance, and how I've attracted a lot of people into my life that I'm unable to ask for help. Ask them a question, they make me feel like I'm bothering them. So with this accountant, if I ask him a simple question just to get informed, he gets very abrasive. And it brings that pattern back up of lately. It's not been my whole life, but in the last 2 years, I've attracted one particular relationship where when I asked for support for 1 minute, the person made me feel dirty. And so when I asked my for a question so that I can understand how this works, he makes me feel dirty. But the reason why I haven't dropped him is because I'm new to this and I don't want to project onto him, because if he's really good at his job, then I'm going to go ahead and trust him. So my guide said, give him 1 year. Give him 1 year and you'll know by the end of the year if he's a match for you or not. It would be premature of me right now to drop him, because I'm still in the process of deciphering, is this me projecting? So I need to keep working on this part of me that
right.
I'm bothering people. So I think that's the path. And it's a new path. It's something that formed recently. It formed after a very profound, significant relationship I had in my life where the tables were turned and all of a sudden I couldn't be myself with someone. And I felt so dirty when I asked a question, or I felt so dirty. And I promised myself that I would never be in that situation again. And then this accountant showed up. And
but you're closing the loop. You're closing the loop. You're closing the hole. You are in the present moment, just like what we talked about earlier. You're in the present moment of it so fully, so completely, that you're going to close up any hole from that previous relationship, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought I thought it was complete because I let the person go, and I decided that I was worthy of people who my back, who don't make me feel dirty when I ask them to get on the phone for a minute. But there's definitely something in me, because I believe wholeheartedly that when things like that appear, is because something's in the process of being resolved.
Right.
And so my conclusion is he's either really good at what he does and he doesn't like to be questioned, which I understand. But there's also this other piece of, but if I'm paying you, I want to understand the mechanics. I want to understand how this works because I'm new to this.
Yeah.
One of those two.
It's both.
It's both, maybe.
It's both, because that's his personality. Okay. Whether he was working with you or not, that's his personality, but that's the personality that you need so that you can overcome that which the pattern of the behavior that you're no longer going to do going forward. So he's giving you that opportunity based on his personality.
And from one perspective, he already has, meaning I don't really think that I need him anymore, because I'm clear on, I don't want people that make me feel dirty.
Yeah.
But then there's an additional sub-layer to it, which is that I'm interested to find out.
Right.
I'm interested to find out if underneath it all, he is a good person. And maybe I judged his personality.
Right. Right.
So I'm interested, feeling to find out, but could he be an actual good guy who's actually good at what he does?
But that's also your heart. That's who you are. You're also that kind of person.
Yeah. And I'm okay. And to be honest with you, I've had a lot of people in my life that I had really strong friendships with, and those friendships fell away after 2 years or 3 years. I mean, people that I was really tight with. And my best friend, Mikey, always said to me, is because you're too all in, you're too invested. But that's something that I never regret. And I'll tell you why. Because the way I see it is some people will not squeeze all the orange juice out of a friendship, but they're eventually going to come to the same truth in 10 years from now. I just get to the truth in 2 years. And I'm okay with that. I take full accountability for being heavily involved with people. And if they happen to fall away, I'm very grateful for that relationship, because instead of squeezing the orange juice incrementally and coming to the truth in 10 years, I got to the truth sooner. And that's what I own it, meaning I really consciously choose what I'm in. It's kind of like someone who, I'm not really like this in romantic relationships, but I have friends who are super open-hearted. And if they get their heart broken over and over and over again, they're okay with that, because they're going in with the intention of, this is growing me. I'm learning how to communicate. I'm learning how to not lose sight of my vulnerability. So they're going in with the intention of, this is going to be my expansion path. Whereas for me in romantic relationships, my expansion path is my intuitiveness that they're not the one. There's nothing I need to find out. I don't need to open up my heart to this person because I already know. But not everyone has that knowing.
Right.
But because
or they ignore it because they have trauma.
Because their intention is, I'm going to go in, and even if I get my heart broken, I'm going to keep expanding. It's beautiful. Because the dial, meaning that knob, or that what do you call it? The knob has been turned dial. But some people repeat patterns of getting their heart broken over and over again through disempowerment. To me, when you go into a relationship with this empowered state of, I'm gonna be grateful for every minute, I'm gonna open up my heart, I'm not gonna lose my vulnerability, you're constantly expanding and getting one step closer to your true one.
As opposed to a disempowered state where it's a neediness, it's a trauma-based response, right? It's a codependency, or a filling up of a void, or those types of ways of going in. It's a different energy than...
Yeah. Empowered approach is, maybe this will be different. The
right.
Empowered approach is, it's going to be different because I'm constantly expanding from relationship to relationship.
Yeah. And let's go. I'm ready. Let's dive in. Let's do this. Yeah. And then there's the individuals that are so afraid of love, or of being seen, or of even being hurt, that they won't ever, they'll just be dipping their toe in, right? They'll just dip the toe into the relationship, and they'll never fully, there's relationships that people are marriages and long-term relationships where the person is still just barely tipping the toe in, right? Just because they don't want to be and they don't want to hurt. They don't want to be in pain. Maybe there was a relationship when they were younger where they got hurt so bad that the trauma is now, I will never do that again. And so there's always this the relationship is never completely all in, where you're just like, I'm going in, I'm giving you everything. You're going to have all of me, and I'm okay with anything that happens, and let's go, right? There's this surface level, I'm in control of all of it. I'm in control of this relationship. I'm in control of how I feel. I'm in control of all of it. And I'm okay walking away. Right.
Yeah, exactly. I want to thank you for sending badges tonight. Some people bought badges. Thank you guys for the badges. Do you see them on your end, Lorie?
Mm-hmm. No, I just see buy a badge to support. That's it.
That's super sweet. Thank you guys.
We're going to save this.
We're going to save it.
Listen, I have this do you want to do one more person live? I have this really weird calling to bring somebody on really fast. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Here's my question though. If and when I save this, because I am going to save this, how will I send it? Oh, no, I'll post it on my Instagram for an hour or two, and you can you have a app?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Save it on your Instagram for an hour. I will upload it, and then you can delete, and you can move it over to the Vimeo.
Okay. Hold on. We'll invite one more person.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's somebody that needs to come in. I was feeling them 30 minutes ago.
Well, I'm going to invite my friend. I have a feeling it's her. I've never spoken to her on FaceTime before, but she's an amazing soul.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Her name is Rebecca or Card CB. Card CB. Like Cardi B, but Card CB.
Okay. Rebecca?
Yeah. Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
We can't see you.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I can hear you guys. I don't know.
Oh.
Hold on.
Yep.
I don't.
Rebecca. That's right.
Wait, I'm going to try to go to another room. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi.
I swear to God, this happens every single time.
Okay, is it working now?
Oh, hi.
Hey, I'm so sorry. I was in my bedroom.
So,
How are you guys?
really?
Fabulous.
Hold on, let me see. I think it's my headphones are still on. Wait 1 second, guys.
As you get ready, Card C has sent me clothes to my house, and it fits perfectly.
What is it that she sends you?
Clothing, and it fits perfectly.
How does she know?
She does. Oh, but it's the right size. All when it's a medium.
All right. I'm so sorry for that, guys. I'm coming into my little office now. There was problems with my Wi-Fi. My headphones were in there. Thank you for your patience. I love you guys so much. And I just have to say, are you so excited when you bring people on and you have like the Ed McMahon check Oprah response? Because that is one of my favorite things when I watch both of your lives, and it's like the best. That brings me as much joy almost as your messages, I have to say.
Ed McMahon. That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys are like the galactic Ed McMahon, because it's like you get to see all of the joy and gratitude that you bring people in that moment. It's amazing.
Wait, was Ed McMahon on Star? What was the show?
Wasn't he the one with the check who would bring like the sweepstakes like check to the people back in the day?
And then he also was on the show with the singing. Oh my God. Do you guys remember that show? You might be too young. Star Search.
Yes, yes.
Phil, do you know Star Search?
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay.
Is my voice?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh. Let me see if I can.
Rebecca, where do you live?
Currently, I'm like in Amish country, Pennsylvania. I was in Manhattan for 15 years, and it got really challenging energetically for me. I stayed for like the first 6 months, and then it was I'm in Pennsylvania, but I'm en route to Florida actually.
Oh, to live?
Yes, yes.
Lots of people are moving to Florida.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm echoing now. Oh,
No,
okay,
you're
got
good.
it. Am I?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good on this end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put my headphones in if that's helping you guys.
By the way, is the sound a lot more crisp with these on? It really is?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's really good for me to know.
I mean, it just sounds like it's going straight in.
Ooh, I like that. I feel like I'm in a tunnel right now.
Yes, that's what it feels like, a tunnel.
Oh, I love that. Maybe I'll start doing my videos with these. Anyways, hi.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm so good. I am so grateful for both of you. You have been, Phil, since my awakening in 2017, as you know, it's just been such a huge part of my life and my awakening. And I found Lorie about a year ago, and both of you are just such powerful teachers, and together you're even more incredible. So thank you so much.
For sure. Thank you.
I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry. I went out for a minute because my best friend tried to call me. I thought my phone was on Do Not Disturb, but so yeah, my bad. If I went out for a minute, if it glitched.
No worries. No, my question was, because I think like this is a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of clients of mine are coming into this energy too. Those of us who have come through an awakening and have come into our healing work as teachers or readers, and it's been like doing really well solo, because I feel like not all, but many of us have come into that work solo, which has been, you know, it can be so challenging and isolating and lonely at times, but it's so powerful. And you kind of get into that flow of, I'm learning and evolving and expanding, and then opening up to the potential of allowing a romantic partner in can be so, for me, I'm speaking for myself, so scary of like, well, should I still be evolving? Wait, there's more to learn. There's always more to learn. And kind of like embarrassed to even share that that's a block for me, but I constantly have that like, oh, am I ready? Am I ready? Because I've been single for the past 4 years and I've done so much work. I went from like having a suicidal breakdown in 2017 to really like coming into my purpose and exiting the world of being an executive in the fashion world and having my own line. And then now I work full time as a reader and you know, have a tarot deck and a book and a podcast. But I'm kind of now, I've always seen myself as having a partner to co-create with, but I still have some blocks around that. And I find that a lot of other healers that I've read for or friends of mine have come up against that. And I just wanted to hear both or either of your thoughts on that or how to work with that.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to go real quick because I know you personally. Your energy is very powerful.
Thank you so much.
Pop into my field all the time. And my guys have even said like she would be an amazing co-creator. They've told me that. So it's not to say that we're meant to do that, but your energy is so resonant that it literally echoes through the field. Literally. And I know a lot of people, but there's something about your energy that's really prominent. That's very, very potent. It's a very strong energy. I think what it is that you pierce through so many different auras, literally, because you're so powerful, that it's just a matter of the right receiver, your romantic partner, like meeting you in person first, or even talking to you on the phone first. It's just that they're not aware of you yet. That's the only thing. Once you establish that initial contact, it's over. Like it's done. You're off to the races. Because your energy is so powerful. My guides have said to me so many times, if she lived in LA, you guys would like do so much together. I'm serious.
I feel that too. Yes, I feel that too.
So I just wanted to say that to affirm and confirm that your energy is really loud.
Thank you.
Like I have to wear earplugs sometimes. I'm kidding. No, but it really is. I just wanted to validate how powerful you are because you really are. So that's what I have.
Thank you so much.
For sure.
Thank you.
It's very clear. You're very clear. So and you read energy, so you know what that means, right? There's just it's clear. It's solid, very aligned. But what was coming up for me, if I can share, so I've had very similar experiences to what you're talking about, where there is like a fear of, well, if they come in, what is this going to mean? Am I going to lose myself, or am I going to lose my movement of my service? What are they going to require of me? What are they going to ask of me? How much of my time are they going to want? You know, and I really like the way things are going right here in this solitude, but you also want a partner. So this is what has transpired for me, is a sense of worthiness that I can have it all. And I always felt like, well, I'm worthy of the one I want, right? I'm worthy of the one I want. And when I really started diving deep into, no, do you really feel worthy of having it all? Do you really feel worthy of having it all? And really starting to dissect that, it started to get clear that I didn't feel worthy. So there was these ideas that I was holding of like, well, they're going to come in and they're going to want more from me, or I'm not going to be able to balance it, or I'm going to fall off the wagon a little bit and lose more of my following, or, you know, that fear. And it's like, that's bullshit. That's a limiting belief that is so full of shit, because you just don't feel worthy of having the exact divine partner to walk into your life right now. So you're going to create all these excuses and all these reasons why you can't have him, right? And so there's this deeper worthiness of, what if I can have it all?
I'm getting something else too, because I think, Rebecca, you primarily date women, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm getting that for you. There's and I think Lorie was picking up on the energy, because energy is genderless, you know, but I do think that you tend to attract I think the reason why Lorie said him is because she was picking up on the energy of that partner. And I think that you've attracted partners, and I don't know, I'm just speaking out loud. You've attracted partners that can be so dominant in their energy that you feel overruled, or you feel like overtaken.
Yeah.
That's what was coming through as Lorie was talking. And so, of course, you're going to feel reluctant to partner up with someone, because if their energy is too engulfing, then you're going to get swept up into this cloud of non-creativity. And the guides always say to me about you, there's nothing that she can't do. That's how, and I love that we're having this discussion tonight, because this kind of points to it's a good way to give additional validation to how the quantum field works. Like, I've thought of you and like how well we would work together. And then I've always heard a higher voice that's like, but so if that's pretty amazing, and that's not happening right now, it means that there's something even more amazing that's going to happen, right? For both of us, separately or whatever. But I do feel like for you, you've worked enough on yourself diligently to where that independence is not going to be taken from you anymore. It's not.
No, thank you. That is my fear. And both of what you guys shared so beautifully is like, that was all of the things that I have concerns around. And I think I haven't been able to even casually date someone to like be able to affirm that I am so much stronger than those previous iterations of me, you know?
Yeah. The thing about you, and I'm sure Lorie can confirm this just by scanning your aura, your energy is so loud that when you get romantically involved with someone, they get sucked into your world. And they just want to be with you every single moment of every single day.
Yeah.
And then so the key there is to just to have an invisible boundary where you're like, you don't necessarily explain yourself as to why you're taking a day off, or why you're just tending to your needs or to your business. You're meant to have greatness, and I know that about you. So yeah, is there anything you want to add, Lorie?
Yeah, the other thing that's coming in really strong, they're like, remind her of her creator beingness, or remind her of her creator beingness is basically what they're saying, which is your ability to create is super potent. And there is maybe, you know, maybe you don't believe it 100%. I don't know, but they're saying get super potently clear on exactly who you're bringing in, and hold firm to that. Right? So there is no other option other than that which I am commanding into my life, and really holding that firm, because they keep saying you're a master creator. As soon as you nail it, it's done, right? And so it's like you're throwing the dart, and it's going to go right into the middle circle, whatever that thing is, the bullseye.
The bullseye.
Yeah. So who is the bullseye? Because your personality, your characteristics is, you know, that when you have your eye on that bullseye, you don't give a crap about anything else. That's all that's going to happen, right? And so they want you to focus on that with your partner coming in. Is who is that partner in the bullseye, and that's all you care about. And anything else that comes in, it's kind of like what Phil does, you know. He's like, yeah, you're not the bullseye, no, you know. And it might take 100, but you know the bullseye. So what's the bullseye, right?
Yeah.
And get so and trust that it's there. She's standing there, right? And then we just merge with them.
I think for you also, the guys just said, do you guys remember those Bose speakers?
Yes. Yeah.
They were like so crisp and clear with the sound. Your
Mm-hmm.
aura is like that. So when you do put your nose to the grindstone, there's nothing that you can achieve. But the thing is that that clear Bose energy that's coming from your speaker is not going to be conducive for someone who's distorted in their frequency. So it's naturally going to
Yeah.
chase away a lot of people because they're
Yeah.
stepping into a field that's so crisp that they're going to recoil immediately. And that I love how this ties in with everything we talked about tonight, that we have to know that we're
Mm-hmm.
shrouded in protection, to where if we keep our hearts open and we stay in that purity mindset, that things that don't hold that frequency of integrity, honesty, all that, they'll be forced to fall away.
Yeah.
Forced, because they're not able to keep up with your. Now, do parasites exist? Yes, parasites exist, or leeches exist, and they want to hang on. But for the most part, I think we've achieved a certain level of frequency within the collective where those things will fall off, because there's so many other things they can leech onto or latch
Mm-hmm.
onto.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
speak to a lot, just a random, weird, bizarre question, but do you speak to a lot of spirits, like dead people?
Yes, yes. And it's so funny. I've read tarot since I was like a little kid, but I came back into my practice in a big way in the past 4 years, and more so over this year. Because I was always saying I'm better with timelines necessarily than those on the other side. But over the past year, especially, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't normally say these things. There's a lot of like spirits that are around you, not in a bad way, but there's
Yeah.
like grandmothers. There's like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
spirits that have passed that are trying to get in and communicate to you, to your clients, like a medium,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty loud.
No, thank you. Because it's been weird literally recently. And that's not something that usually came through in readings. And it's been more and more so. So thank you for validating that, because it's been interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, spirits always show up like that. They're pretty loud.
I feel like there's something else that we need to give you before
There
you,
is.
like,
There's
there
some.
is something else.
This is the best ever. You guys are like Oprah with the energetic cars and Ed McMahon over here. Like, I was just laying in my bed with my dog and I was like, I'm going to see, but oh my gosh, this is the most beautiful gift. Thank you.
Is there something else? I feel like there's something else that we need to retrieve. It's a retrieval of sorts of information. There's something that
I felt it the moment she came in. I was like, okay, we're going to do something surface level, and then there's something else that's going to need to come through.
there's something else.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
You do have a lot of good karma. A lot of good karma. I think that the universe is kind of stopping all the goodness, all that good juju
Mm-hmm.
from flooding in on purpose. So you've already distributed and disseminated all this amazing positive energy, and that energy is just dying to freaking flood you. And the universe is like, stop, like red light, red light. We're going to have her wait a little bit. Because once it comes in, it's going to be so activating and so life-giving and so life-changing that they're going to need you to be in this extremely receptive mode. Otherwise, you will get bombarded. You're gonna be overwhelmed. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like the universe has like pressed on the pedal or on the brake and is saying, wait, we're going to wait for the surprise. And here you are, and you've given all this amazing energy, but it hasn't necessarily been reciprocated, but it has. It has. It's just that in a physical sense, your guides put a stop on it.
Yeah.
Lorie, why would they put a stop on it right now? Why are they putting a stop on it? Because this girl has a lot of good karma. Believe me. I mean, I show up at my house sometimes and there's gifts left and right from her. And you know when someone's doing that for you, they're doing it for other people.
Okay,
You
so
know they are.
Here's what's coming through.
There's something there. There's something about her positive energy and the reciprocity and how it's already
Okay,
here.
let me just give it. Let me just give it because it's making me
Okay, give it to us.
It's making me nauseous because it's deep. So okay. It's interesting that it ties to what you just said, which I wasn't expecting. There is something deep that your guides are asking you to look at that needs to be felt and seen in order to release it so that you can embrace what's coming. And the only thing I can tell you is that it makes me nauseous in my stomach to kind of like dive into this. So like whatever it is, it's already been looked at, dealt with, but there's still a piece of it, or it's something inside the body that is going to just sort of say, hey, I'm right here. Can you just feel me for a moment?
Mm-hmm.
So there's something left that they need you to look at that is stopping all of what Phil is saying that's coming.
I know what it is. I know what it is. I got it.
What is it?
You don't see yourself the way that I see you. You don't see yourself the way that I know you. It's almost like you haven't held yourself at the caliber that you're at. You're already at a certain caliber, and it's almost like you haven't really fully seen that you're at that caliber.
What is that little girl inside? Like that's the piece that needs to be held. That's the piece that needs to be seen. That's the piece that doesn't feel worthy of how Phil sees you.
I see you at the highest caliber. I don't see you as a person that's needing help right now. I don't see you as any of that. I hold you in the highest regard.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I do have trouble with that. I do.
The guides are saying you've been carrying a burden that was never yours. And you can lay it down now.
Yeah.
You can lay down the burden because they see you as an exalted being. And you haven't held yourself to that standard. It's like, yeah, I even texted you and I'm like, I want us to be friends. But maybe there was a part of you that thought, I don't think Phil would be my friend, or
yes.
which is bullshit. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's something that you can't fake. You are at that caliber. Does that make sense? Like,
yes.
I respond to vibration.
Mm-hmm.
I respond to your true vibration. And it's like, of course, this girl is a friend. There was no question in my mind. And I speak to thousands of people, but you stand out from the crowd. And it's time for you to see yourself the way that I see you, the way that your higher self sees you.
Thank you so much.
And there's nothing to fix. There's just a story you need to drop.
Yeah.
And it's not your story. It's something else. I don't know. It's weird. It's like, it's not yours, but you adopted it. It's something that you adopted. Oh, this is good. They're saying that you adopted it because no one saw you the way I see you. So you cashed out. You kind of, you sold yourself short. You adopted someone else's belief.
And it's in you though, like it's hanging out. It's like somewhere.
It's like nesting. It's like nesting, honey. It's like nesting in your system.
Get it out.
Yeah. It's like a little bird that's like hanging out a long time. It's been in the nest for a long time. But the thing,
Yeah.
what's wonderful about you is that your authentic vibration already supersedes it, which lets me know that this thing isn't yours.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really interesting to feel into it. It's like something came in that's foreign. It's not supposed to be there, and it's an energetic thing, and it just needs to be literally be like, you're out.
Yeah.
It's a
Thank
worthiness. It's a deep, deep worthiness.
you. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm literally seeing all three of us right now on the same level. Like it's like three people of the same caliber, like discussing. And I think this thing speaks
Yeah.
to you sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
it whispers in your ear, like, if I go live, will this mean that I'm needing something? If I go live, will it mean that I'm like a client or something?
Right. Right.
It's like it speaks to
Right.
you. It fucks with your
Yes.
mind.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes I can like detach from it more than others, but I absolutely have that. Yeah.
I think you need to start dismissing it from a
Okay.
place of love.
Yeah.
Like, I love that you feel that way. You can
Mm-hmm.
speak to it. Like, I love that you feel that way, but that's not how I know my caliber. I know my true vibration.
Yeah.
Lorie, is there anything else you're getting?
No, just every time the thought, the belief comes in, just pay close attention to it. Don't ignore it. Don't deny it. Don't pretend. Really, really hear the beliefs, so that you can toss them aside, toss it aside, toss it aside, um, and move on. I had and have the same sort of experience of like my worthiness and really really owning who I am and who I'm here to be. That is really hard for me. It's very
Yeah.
challenging to see yourself as who you designed yourself to be in this lifetime. It's very very difficult for me. So it's a sense of being worthy of that and owning it and embodying it. And the way I do it is I'm aware of when I'm not feeling who I actually know myself to be, right? So I'm sure you always, or you probably get a lot of people saying how amazing you are, you've changed their lives, you've done all these amazing things, right? And we sort of, at least for myself, toss it aside
Mm-hmm.
like, maybe, I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
I did, maybe I do, I'm not sure if I
Yeah.
do. Sometimes, man, I don't know, right? And everyone's like, no, 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 you are amazing. And so to really start to embody that, and to listen to when those beliefs are coming in, um, because our potency, our ability to really do the work that we came here to do is all about being able to devour us, devour who we are, like own it, and be humble, but at the same time, um, embody that grace, embody that prolific teacher that you're here to be.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to those beliefs, listen to them, and when you listen to them, they're not serving, they're not here, they can't serve you, so toss it aside.
The
Thank
other
you.
the other thing I'm getting is, because we were talking about why this amazing positive energy isn't able to make its arrival, or if it's not able to make its way back to you. And the guides just said to me, they said it's because we would never send amazingness her way if she doesn't recognize her own amazingness. Like, they want you to fully measure up to the amazing being that you already are, that you always were, so that you can enjoy the amazingness when it comes back to you.
Mm-hmm.
But if it were to come before this talk, you'd be like, really? Is this for real? Like,
Yes.
I really get to have this? Like,
Yes.
is this for real?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, it's for real. And then now
Yeah.
when it shows up, you won't say that. You won't go, this is so too good to be true. Or you won't say things along the lines of, I can't believe I met you. It's like, I not only met you, I created you. Like, I created the frequency that you chose to embody. I created the
Absolutely.
frequency and you chose to be a match. You chose to show up. You chose to serve me and what I wanted to create. And vice versa. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
But how cool would it be if we all saw life that way? Like we're creating our partners.
Yeah.
We
And
are.
we're
Yeah.
creating our partner, we're creating everything,
Yeah.
and someone wants to fill in that slot because they created you too.
For
Yeah.
sure.
How amazing would that be? Like you created your partner came from a parallel universe.
Your partner's waiting. Our
Your
partner's
partner's
waiting.
waiting. I feel like, yeah, your partner is waiting. I feel like your partner is also waiting for you to add to what Lorie just said, is waiting for you to accept your partner, to
Yeah.
accept the
I feel
amazingness.
that. Yeah. Yeah. I feel that.
Again,
But
it comes back to worthiness. It really comes back
mhm.
to like, dude, I deserve, this is what I am commanding this in my life. This is what I deserve. This is what I want, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, and I think thank you so much because, and Lorie, what you said about just like when it comes up, listen to it and engage, because I shut it down, those kind of negative voices for so long. And I resonate with your story so much of being in private equity and, I was really struggled with addiction, and all of that transition just took place for me from 2017 on, which has been amazing and challenging at times. But, I kind of like just started to even be able to listen to it, So I thank you. I think I've been like shutting it down and just not wanting to deal with it. And that's really kind of the breakthrough point is the engagement and when Phil was like, okay, I hear you. I love you for that, but that's not the truth. That's what I need to really work with.
for me personally, I'm a very independent woman. I'm very strong. You're not going to take care of me. I'm going to do this all on my own. And that's really how I've lived my life. And so when I was always like, oh no, I'm a badass motherfucker. Get out of my way. Right.
Yeah.
But really, I was insecure and I doubted myself, but I would put on the front of, oh no, of course I'm going to be successful. Of course I'm going to be this great teacher. Of course. Right. But deep down, I was scared shitless. I didn't believe in myself. I felt unworthy. I was super insecure. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And so the more I authentically allowed myself to really see who I really am, like not who I am, because who I am is this beautiful being of light in physical form, but the behaviors or the patterns or the beliefs that I have picked up along the way that have framed sort of the way I present myself to people, the more I saw that character, the more I said, wait a second, this isn't authentically me. Hold on a second. What's going on? What is authentically wanting to be seen? Oh, there's a wounded girl inside there that at 6 years old, mm-hmm. was sexually abused, and, this other stuff, all these things happened, right? And that is the character that came out and said, get out of my way. I'm going to show you how I'm going to be successful. And now that it's time to show up and be successful, I got to honor that little girl that pretended to be this strong, powerful woman. And I got to I need to look at my unworthiness and my insecurities and whatever that is, so that I can actually step up and shine in a very humble, unconditional and loving way. And that's what's being asked of you. Look at it all, right? Mm-hmm. Look at all of it and allow yourself to compassionately love everything you went through in your life, mm-hmm. right? And then love the hell out of you so that you can be the prolific teacher and you can bring in the partner. Love every piece of the belief, all of it. Let's just love the freak out of yourself, mm-hmm. so that you can step into what's coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for both of you. And this was such a beautiful gift tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Good to meet you.
Good to meet
it's
you.
So nice.
Officially.
Yes. I love you both so much.
Love you
Thank
too.
you.
Love you too.
Love you.
Okay, I think we did good tonight. I'm hungry.
I'm thirsty. I'm tired.
I'm so Egyptian. I eat at like the worst hours.
Do you eat cookies or do you eat dinner?
Well, I have a poke bowl, and then I really want to have something sweet tonight.
I love poke bowls.
Poke bowls are so good.
So good. They're so delicious. I don't have anywhere to go to get a poke bowl.
They're so good.
Do you have cookies?
No, but I might have to go to the store.
Right now at 10 o'clock at night?
Hell yeah. I'm just getting the party started.
Do you walk or do you
Oh,
drive?
my mom has been on for 3 hours. What is she doing?
Oh my God, bring your mom up real fast.
Okay. Lorie, I'm
What?
hungry. Hold on. Mom, do you want to come say hi to people?
Does she want to say hello?
Does she want to say hi? My battery's about to die too. She's been on 3 hours. What the hell?
That's awesome. How can you tell?
Because she said hi in the beginning.
But how do you know she's still on?
What, she's saying no.
Oh, I see her. There she is. Oh, she doesn't want to come on. She's in bed.
She's in bed.
Oh,
Yeah,
she
she wasn't
gave
she
you a
wasn't in
badge.
bed. She wasn't in bed a minute ago.
She's probably not in bed. She just doesn't want to. Wait, she gave you a badge. She loves you.
Yes, she bought badges.
Oh my God, that is the cutest thing ever. Your mom bought badges?
I'm gonna send you badges right after this, Lorie. Because this was a collaborative effort.
Can I tell you what happens when we bring someone on?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go.
Okay.
I've said this 3 or 4 or 5, 6 times. I'm just going to say it one more time and I'll probably keep saying it. But when we bring somebody on to talk, or even if it's in person and we bring somebody to talk and somebody comes in and talks, my whole body goes into a different frequency. My whole body, like, all of a sudden I start shifting into a different frequency in a different like space. And then it's almost like a humming comes in. It's like, and I turn into, and there's like a new like essence or something that starts to happen. And it's like, it's so interesting. It's the strangest thing. I'm getting used to it, but it's very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. Very.
I love when we work together in person, because it's on a, we're gonna have to do events because our energy in person is on a whole other level.
It's a whole other level. It's a
Whole other level.
Because when we were working with our friend in person, not working, but when we were having a conversation, and I was in person with you, watching you do your thing, it was so different than Instagram Live.
Mm-hmm.
It's so different.
It's so different.
We're going to just do live events.
Oh my God, I cannot wait.
We don't know where, but wherever we'll do them.
We have to. I mean, Jesus and Magdalene brought us together, and I know that in my heart. In my heart, I know that. It's not even a question. Not even a question. You haven't turned on your badges yet, have you?
No.
Okay, guys, if you want to send Lorie badges, send them here. I'm going to send her right after I get off. I'm going to send her badges.
We thought about doing something in Tulum, like on the beach.
We did. We thought of doing that, but our time is going to come. Actually, yeah, someone just said come to Florida. We were thinking about Florida. To be honest, I think like the United States is probably the best place for us right now.
Yeah. We'll find some place when it pops in, it pops in. It's basically going to be me finding something, telling you the exact date and time, and then you just show up.
Yeah. I love how goofy we are together too. Oh my God. Like at one point I was like, why can't we stop talking? Can we just stop? Can we, like, what's going on? And we ate so much good food. Oh my God.
You're like, do I talk too much? I'm like, no. Am I talking too much? I'm like, no. Come spend the night at my hotel. Like, we could talk all night long.
I almost suggested sleeping in your bathtub. Because it was big. It was nice. It was a luxurious bathtub. Your hotel room was like a really nice hotel
No,
room. And
you
I
did.
would have been, I seriously thought, I looked at the bath. You don't remember me looking at the bathtub? I was figuring out, can I put my body in this?
I seriously, legitimately wanted you to spend the night so bad. I was like, I just want him to spend the night so that we could like.
The bathtub looked comfortable.
Wait, do you know what I was thinking about the other night? Actually, last night, what I was thinking about that we haven't talked about, which we won't talk about here.
Uh-huh.
But the first night when we were hanging out, that thing that happened,
Oh, right.
I was thinking about that a lot.
Yeah. Was that the first night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Live events are really where it's going to be really unreal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I'd like to do something in June, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything
Well,
else?
I think we're good. I think we've been on a while.
How long have you been on?
3 hours.
Oh yeah, we're pretty good.
We're good. All right. I love you.
Okay, I love
I
you.
love you all. I love you all.
Go eat your poke bowl,
Okay.
and we'll see everybody next time,
Sounds good.
whenever that is. And save this for an hour so that I can upload it.
I will.
The Cosmic Wanderer. That's a good name.
That is a very good name.
Okay, bye, Phil's mom.
Bye, everyone.
We love you.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.